What a massive dong.
Welcome back to the Spaghetti and Meat Boys podcast, the first ever podcast to be ethically sourced. Link is in the description. You can scan a QR code to find out the origins of this podcast. As always, I am your host, Republican Banana. With me are the two boys. In the top right, we have proletariat guy with an Asian wife. And in the bottom, we have Melinda. How are you guys doing this fine evening?
I don't even know which one of those was which.
Melinda. Dude, that shit was okay. First and foremost, to answer your question, I'm doing fantastic. But that was a spot on Alex Riger right there. Melinda.
Dude.
I can't
Oh
even
my
fucking
god,
do it.
guys. He was voiced. I knew his voice. It's the same actor who voiced Shanks in One Piece. Red-haired Shanks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know who that is.
Yes, you
I'm
do.
sorry,
It's
that
a great
is-
show.
It's
You scared me for a minute there. I was like, guys, look out! Like some
Oh,
shit
shit.
was behind us or something.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the guy who voices Shanks.
You were absolutely deep throating that microphone right there.
I'm sorry. I had to say it before I forgot.
yes, you
It's
did. Yes,
okay.
you did.
How are you doing? Melinda?
I'm doing fantastic. Can't complain. I'm a new parent.
Congratulations.
I'm giving her away tomorrow.
Which kind? Just safe dropping her at the fire station?
Yeah, we're recording this
mean-
right before Father's Day, and they say that if you give them away before Father's Day, it doesn't count. It's off your record. It doesn't come on your permanent record.
How is the foster cat system there?
How is the lady?
The foster cat.
Never
system.
mind.
It's a joke. It's like a. it's a
You know
play on
I don't
words.
understand jokes.
Yeah, that is true. That's
So,
why you're so easy. You're such an easy target. But yeah.
so this
All right.
podcast is about, currently, we are doing an anime film bracket where we are going through a list of matchups that contain two anime movies, and we are putting them head to head, and based on arbitrary reasoning, we are picking one to move on to the next round to go against another arbitrarily picked anime movie.
Sweet.
So, this is the fifth round?
Fifth episode.
Wow.
Or it's
Fifth
still round
round.
one, but it's the fifth matchup.
Okay,
the
yes, we're
first
still in
round.
we're still in the sweet 30. If you haven't seen the other
Why would it be the
results-
sweet? Why would it not be the sweet 15 after this?
Well, cuz I was thinking the mean 15.
How would it be? Actually,
Yeah.
well, there's
thought you
only
said
28.
sweep.
The sweep 30.
Yeah.
It's 28, and two of them
Who's
get to
sweeping?
already move on to the next round. Just because that's the way the bracket.
We're in the Kalamazoo 32.
It's not 32. It's 28.
Doesn't matter.
We're in
32, baby.
we're in
Either
the
way.
irate 28. Either way,
That's a good one.
if you would like to watch the earlier rounds, the earlier matchups, the link is in the description.
we're gonna
So-
spoil the
Probably.
results for those. So
And we're going to spoil the results. And we're going to
Yes.
spoil the movies a
Sort of
lot. So if you
periodically.
haven't watched them, be prepared.
Yes.
So, the two movies we watched today, or this week, I don't remember the year they came out, and I think I remember the directors, we'll see, are a movie from the mid to early 80s. It's one of those years. and it's called-
1983.
1983, 2 years before the title year of the famous Bowling for Soup song, Dallos. So, Dallos, I forgot the other guy who was involved, but it's Oshii, whose first name I can't remember,
Mamoru.
famed for Mamoru Oshii.
Both of the directors, they have the same first
Memories.
name.
Mamoru Oshii and
Oshii.
Mamoru Isho.
Man,
Mamoru Oshii, of course, made Angel's Egg and Ghost in the Shell.
Yep.
one movie
Why?
that we've already talked about in a former matchup, and one of them that we were going to talk about in a future matchup.
Yeah.
And the other guy, he was just kind of there. So we're not going to talk about him. The other movie is the Mamoru Hosoda. Mamoru? Is it Mamoru?
Mamoru Hosoda.
Mamoru Hosoda. This is the matchup of Mamoru's. Hosoda, his 2009 film, Summer Wars.
Good job.
And so, we're going to give a plot synopsis. I believe we want to talk about Dallos first. Is that correct?
Yeah. Really quickly, I'm gonna come out and say, this was
Mhm,
probably thus far like the worst matchup as far as like
I
what
agree.
to talk about between the two of them. It really seems to me that like the first 3 episodes at least, we had some both intended and really great incidental connections, and then the 4th episode, I think it was a little bit more shaky, but we managed it. Like this one,
Yeah.
they both had some kind of war in a foreign place, one on the moon, one in cyberspace, and I was like, that's good enough for me.
They both kind of have family dynamics. One of them way more than the other, but the other kind of.
So I should have known, because it's a Hosoda film, because I've seen Summer Wars before previously, and I guess I
Mhm.
actually blocked out 99% of that movie because I was like, oh yeah, they do these cool like internet battles, and like it all takes place like in the cyber realm, and occasionally you'll see some stuff from the outside world.
Wait,
And then it's straight up
give us
about
a synopsis
family.
for that
So,
film yet. Oh, wait, no, we haven't
I
given a
know.
synopsis for either film. Sorry.
but I'm just saying, like, I blocked out like half the movie, which is the reason why I'd picked it.
I do have a certain point
What's your
that
point?
What's your point, Jared?
Are you gonna hold it?
I
for
do
the-
have a
for the
certain
juice?
point that is very relevant, I think, in both movies. I can
Yeah.
hold it, or I can say it now. It's up to you.
Let's wait till we get to that.
Yeah.
the
We'll
peak of the
we'll
roller
hold off.
coaster.
I'm sorry. I was getting a little ahead of myself. But
God,
would you? Do
God.
you want to do?
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Do you want to do the plot synopsis? Or me and Ian, or Ian should probably take one, because
I just love doing plot synopses.
also you low key lagging a little bit, Jared. So
Damn.
I can hear the voice. Okay.
yeah, the
I can hear
voice
the
is
voice
fine,
fine.
but your
Just put in a
internet just kinda
JPEG
sucks,
of me,
so.
man. Just do a JPEG. It'll be fine.
Oh, I
I'll
got
just get a little
plenty of.
sticky note of like I just drew your face on and just stick it over your. Right. That'll probably work for me.
Yeah, but anyway, Ian, do you want to take either of these synopses, or you want me to
I could
to
take
roll with
either
them?
one.
You know what? Sure, go ahead with Dallos. I want
Go ahead
to
with
see
Dallas?
which I want you to synopsisize. That's not a word.
Okay.
Dallas.
Dallas is an 80s OVA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
The first ever.
The first ever.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
Yes,
technically
historic.
the first ever.
Sorry, widely considered the first ever.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, Houston, can you take the thing?
Dallas.
I have a
yeah.
I have a very important call I have to take. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So
Okay,
we're gonna excuse Ian, so he can go talk to
All right.
his baby mama, his cat's baby mama, and then he's just gonna stay on and take the call.
Okay. Well, we
Either way.
put a black bar over his lips so that we
I
don't have
got
any
you.
lip readers. You know.
Out of the 22 views that we got on last episode, we definitely
slow and steady wins the race.
it's a high likelihood that there are some lip readers in there, because they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way, so Dallas, 1983,
Yeah.
widely considered to be the first OVA out there, which is stands for original video animation, right? Is that what OVA stands for? Yeah, original video
Yes.
animation. So it originally came out, like most OVAs do, straight to video and in multiple parts. It was later cut down to, I think, like an 80 to 90 minute special to air on television, kind of more out towards the west. But
Yep,
we
yep.
watched the 4-part OG series, so it's not syndicated television, not a feature film. But we're considering it a film for this one. But anyway, it's somewhere in the 21st century currently, and Earth had depleted its resources, so they sent a crack team 50, 60 years back up to
A
the moon.
crackpot team.
Crackpot team of just some wacky, zany characters.
Oh,
All
yeah.
old guys that look identical to each other. They went up to settle on the moon and to mine there and send materials back to the Earth. And so now we're a couple generations into this shit, and Earth is rich and prosperous, and the people on the moon have endured years and years of servitude and hardship and death because like they can't breathe up there. So their colonies, they're growing in their unrest, while Earth is still siphoning all their materials and controlling with a very militarized police state. And there is a band of rebels who were motivated by the shutting down and I guess of their past movements, and where lots of casualties were unjustly blamed on them. So they take it upon themselves to use small acts of, for lack of a better word, terrorism. I mean, it is technically terrorism. It's against a police state, but it's terrorism.
Yeah.
Just your typical stuff like that. And we follow mostly a young kid, part of the third generation of settlers, the ones who were born on the moon, named Shun. He's 17 years old, and he's kind of caught up in between these two worlds of literally two worlds, but like wanting to go to the Earth and not knowing what it's like. It's like a magical place to him, but also
caught between two bitches too.
He's caught between two bitches as well. Each one of the bitches does represent each one of the worlds.
One of them mad annoying, the other one mad boring.
Amen to that, dude. I mean, those are my two favorite qualities in women, though. Yeah, but either way, he's just caught between these two worlds of feeling an obligation to his people, and especially because he has family connected from the moon, but also the mystery and the wonder and the desire for Earth. So it's a lot of that was more thematic than plot relevancy, because like it is very it's just kind of your run of the mill rise up against a military state, kind of like dystopian sci-fi kind of thing. But I think the one element that stands out as far as like plot devices is the megastructure, which is, you know, the titular, I guess, piece, which is called the Dallos, and apparently the early settlers had worshipped it like a god, because they don't really recall when or how it got there. It's just this giant structure that they believe is alive, and they kind of worship it. And as the generations go down, they kind of write it off a little.
The faith,
yeah,
the faith wavers.
The faith does waver, and for good reason. It's been dormant for a while. But either way, it's just kind of an important looming presence in the film as well. That's not part of the plot, but it does play a role a little bit. So yeah, that's the synopsis. I was trying to make it as long as possible so Ian could come back.
So yeah, it's an important phone call.
I rambled a little bit on that one, but
okay, I'm still recording.
Yeah, we don't have to like continue to go, but
okay.
Pause that bitch. Make sure we're still tracking right here. Booyah.
I am resumed.
All right, cool. As am I. All right.
Sorry, kitty.
No, dude. All right. So just to make sure everything's all good with you, Ian.
Yes, everything's good with me. Just poopy cat.
Okay. All right. So all right, man. So yeah, well, we're back. Ian had to deal with a shitting cat while being on the phone with somebody inquiring about said shitty cat. Like shitty is in like literally taking poops, like not as a bad cat.
She's not good at taking poops strategically or not getting it on her.
Just like all of us, man.
Yeah,
we all shit ourselves sometimes.
Yes.
And we all shit ourselves all the time sometimes, you know?
That's true, all the time, yeah.
But
so Ian, Houston gave the synopsis.
And
we discussed that the score sounds like a combination album of Steely Dan, King Crimson, and ELO. Would you agree with that assessment?
I think
Yeah,
that's really generous.
it is very generous. But I do want to go with initial reactions from everyone now that we're all back. Like I don't want to get derailed on this music because you just named 3 bands that predate 1984 at some point. So like Ian is going to go Super Saiyan. So I just want to get everyone's reactions first before he delves into the treasure trove of knowledge he possesses on it. Also, are you good? Do you need to go take some like allergy medicine?
I don't have any with me. But yes, I do, but I don't have
I'm
any
sorry,
with me.
bro. Yeah. All right. Well,
This is the life.
Dude, we watch this podcast for your sniffles.
I know.
no, I know what the waveform of your sniffles look like by heart now, so I can go chop them out. Either way, Ian, what was your, if you're ready, what was your initial reaction to the film Dallos? Since me and Jared have talked for a second.
Dallos was a pleasant little action flick made for 10-year-olds. It feels like something that I would see on Boomerang. It's got like sort of a like a Johnny, what was that? It's not Johnny Test, the Johnny Adventure or
Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest. Yeah, it has like a Johnny Quest sort of like quaint vibe to it.
Johnny Quest, dude, I used to watch that shit.
It throws more sci-fi and more maybe existential and more political and class-based sort of things into it, but it never elaborates or like goes to a level with any of those themes beyond the understanding of a 10-year-old. Because I think that's the fundamental audience for this. I think a 10-year-old would love these stuff, but like Dallos, like what is it? What is it? What is it? And then it just sort of goes to about 10 years old. And if a 10-year-old starts to scratch their head, they go, okay, that's about it. And they sort of just
Damn.
I thought it was pretty boring. And it had sort of like TV level, like Johnny Quest level animation.
Yeah.
Which I excused. I basically all the complaints I have, I excuse because I honestly think it was made for 10-year-olds, 10-year-old boys specifically. I excuse it for that, but I still don't think it was very good. I don't think really all of the parts I like are at such a level where it's like I'm not getting anything out of it. The explosions were cool. The robots were pretty cool. 10-year-old stuff. It was neat. I would have loved it 10 years ago.
I was not expecting this man to disappear to go pick up some cat shit, come back and just lambast this movie. Like absolutely skewer it like a fucking
I don't know why not. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say.
Transformers kebab. Just
hey man.
Oh damn. Okay, Jared, what were your initial thoughts kind of along the same vein?
I agree that this film, if it lacks anything, is depth and nuance. Damn. However,
how could you not
hit me in the right way?
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm saying
No, I'm agreeing with you.
I know. I was just addressing in an exclamation.
Damn.
Houston's response. Yeah.
No. But at the same time, I had a damn good time watching this movie. I really enjoyed it. I didn't care because like. If there's, I'm going to bring up that common thread. It's not as bad in Summer Wars, but Dallos has a problem where it has something that's really cool that the movie should be focused on, but we keep getting away from it to focus on very badly written and manufactured drama. My main note in this is like, I could not give 2 shits about Shun and especially Rachel.
Amen to that shit.
Or Marinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, the human drama part of this was it might have been written by a 10-year-old. But
it was for 10-year-olds.
The surface level sci-fi and basic plot was just really fun, and I feel like a lot of the movies we've watched are very depthy and nuanced and require some sitting and thinking. So I had a good time. I cracked a couple of beers. I blew through this. The music was great. I had a good time. So yes, I agree. It's not that great of a movie, but it's one of those. It's very much like a guilty pleasure kind of thing. I have a really, and if there were a movie like say like Shit Children that we're going against, I don't know.
You think you would pick this over shit children?
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Oh damn. No, so I feel a little differently than you guys, but also like you made some valid points. I will agree, Shun sucks. I think it's less about him specifically. Like, I don't think it would have been that bad of a protagonist if like his entire character arc didn't hinge on like literally the lamest fucking choice of all time. Like, I understand he's supposed to be caught between like I don't believe what the rebels or the terrorists of my planet are doing is like completely right, because I do see like the good and the magic of Earth, but also like I don't think Earth and therefore its leaders should be oppressing us and siphoning shit from us. And it took until like, that final scene to see that, or whatever, with the gigantic, the sea of remembrance,
Graves.
the giant
Oh.
the giant grave sites. And then he was like, oh fuck you, Earth. Even though I don't agree with these terrorists, like I'm going to join them because this is bullshit. But like he saw his mom get blown up, and also like I understand like the visual element of like going and seeing that many, like if you've ever been to like Arlington National Cemetery or any like humongous cemetery and just been around like that many dead things, you're like, fuck, like the concept is so huge. Like you think you understand like war has a lot of casualties, right? But then when you actually get to like line them up, it's massive. But like literally everyone in the entire fucking planet had been like, yeah, everyone's dead. There's like millions dead. Like they've been telling him the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
So it was a dumb decision that like I don't think he ever actually truly came to, because he had been like so passive to everything up until that moment for no reason. But other than that,
I was about to say his. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but other than that, I thought it was fine. I don't think it was written for 10-year-olds for two reasons. One, it was straight to VHS. This was the early 80s. VHSs were like $100 a piece. So like you couldn't well, I don't know if they were that expensive.
We don't know the price point in Japan. It might have been different in Japan.
No, when
Sony.
home video first came out, like that's how Blockbuster exploded and shit, because like they had the great business model to be like, we have a fuck ton of capital, we're gonna buy up all these things and rent them out to people, because regular people cannot afford videotapes. Videotapes were for the uber wealthy when they first came out. Like they were not, you couldn't just go collect your favorite movies. They were like luxury items. Like they were mad expensive. But either way, I do think it does really good, like in actually, like I think there is depth to the movie. I don't think it's depth in an obvious way, but I think it's pretty clear. Like it does a good job of like sectioning off like actual generations and like putting them in each positions of like activeness or passiveness towards oppression. And if you can make that kind of a metaphor for a country per se, like it's super fucking relevant, like even today. So I thought that was pretty good.
I'd like to offer a retort to that.
No,
I'm not gonna say they weren't oppressed in a military state, but like my God, the moon people, like they had to work.
Lunarites,
and they
what
had
are they
like
called? Lunarians.
Lunarians, yeah. The Lunarians, like, they had to work in mines and, like, rough conditions, and they had, like, rings on their heads. But, like, they got, like, weekends off. They got to build their families. The areas they lived in were, like, pretty okay. Very suburban. Like, I feel like they could have done a better job of portraying, like, the oppression. And that's sort of why I say, like, it kind of sounds like a 10-year-old wrote it.
No,
because like it very much felt like these guys are mad. What's the worst thing you can think of? Having to work.
It's not about that. It's that like they don't get to reap the benefits of their own labor. Like they are used. Like they live in pretty, like you could tell, like I mean even the city, it's brutalist, but it's designed to be like cubed and lined almost like a type of like favela or something like that. It's supposed to look like low income housing, like Italian ghettos or like a South American favela. Not exactly, but it's just like it looks super blue collar, and it's like Earth had exhausted all of its resources, and now Earth is like super prosperous where all the rich people live, and they govern from millions of miles or hundreds of thousands of miles away. And so it's like, yeah, they're not bitching about having to go to work. They're bitching about like their entire like heat signatures being tracked on a headband that they're not allowed to take off, and then they can't even bury their own, family members when they die. They have to be like chemically fucking like evaporated.
Yeah, recycled.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I think it's less about like the active oppression going on right in that moment, because it starts in medias res. Like they're already in the middle of their revolution, right? Like they allude to like one of the bigger inciting incidents from years prior. But it's like
setup.
The original, yes, it was a setup, but the
Or
original
maybe
generation, the old guys who still believe.
Sorry, go ahead.
Dude, imagine being the teacher of that fucking class, though. You're just like, all right.
Dude, imagine
yeah.
not liking High School Musical 2, dude. Imagine not liking High School Musical 2. What a piteous life, man.
Better than Dallos.
Yeah,
But
maybe. I don't
High
know.
School Musical 2? You're damn right it is. Are you kidding me?
To your point, Jarrett, I think that the fact that the lower class is not like obviously like super impoverished, super terrible life lends a little bit to the arguments between the generations, because I feel like it wouldn't be such a meaningful argument if one was like, this fucking sucks, and the old people are like, no, it's not that bad, and then like it's just like they're living in like the streets in cardboard boxes eating paste.
Like the old
wouldn't be
guys
as
are
good
old
of a-
enough to remember when they were truly valued for their work.
Sorry.
But yeah,
I'm sorry.
they remember that, and they have the pride of like building this nation. They're kind of like the boomer generation. And then you have the revolutionaries, which are like your Gen X-ish millennials. I don't know.
Them damn college liberals.
I think the middle generation is more boomerish. I think the older generation is sort of like, we don't even like we think of ourselves as our own unit. We don't
No.
even, because they think like we're for Dallos, and Dallos is everything. Like all that oppression and shit, we just put that shit out of our head. We know it's bad.
They were very active in being like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, and like Earth is a great place because like they have memories of Earth. They were adults when they came away, so they have love for the Earth. They have love for their oppression, or their not oppression, oppressors, and they remember when they were respected. So they can't fathom that things have changed.
Syndrome, I think you mean.
Moonholm syndrome. Monopolis. It was called Monopolis, dude. Fucking ingenious.
That was
creativity right there. But anyway, the revolutionaries, they were probably children. It lines up about to where they were like children or were just born onto the moon, like either young children or just born onto the moon and shit when it was being populated. So they barely have any memory of Earth, but they have memory of like life sucking growing up. Like they have memories of like all the original camps like getting torn to shreds and like people dying like all the fucking time. You see that before they even get to the Sea of Remembrance. You see like all the old settlements that had just been destroyed and people had died. And then they remember the creation of the Sea of Remembrance, but they don't remember Earth. And so they've grown up with this contempt.
They do?
And then, yeah.
That's interesting
because it had only been about a 50 to 60 year span since the first people started colonizing the moon in the movie. So that means the generation that was in their 30s to 50s at the time would have either migrated up early on or like been one of the first people born. And then, Shun's generation, the young kids, they've never known anything. They've only existed during, I guess he's gone. But they've only existed during to when like the moon was completely settled and colonized, and now they have a functioning society. So that's why Shun has that like struggle, because he's like, it's not that bad, is it?
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the memory of like, he's just like, I guess like it kind of sucks that we have to do this, but like, life isn't any different, right? And like Earth is this magical place. But it's not for that middle generation. Like they don't see it that way, I guess. I don't know.
That's no. That's a good point. I just
That's where I think most of the depth is. Everywhere else, I think it's lacking.
Yes.
But that's where most of the depth is to me.
Well, I think specifically regarding Shun's generation, Shun was such a god awful protagonist, and literally, like I could have gotten that maybe, but like he was in like every 5 scenes dealing with this internal struggle.
Yes,
He didn't even
it
seem
was
to-
not
he didn't
well
even seem to give a
executed at
shit.
all.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
He was sort of like he wasn't like struggling. He was just ambivalent. He just was like, I don't know, maybe. I mean, I get them. I
he was
get
trying to
them.
get that Murinda. He was trying to get Murinda.
Yeah, which was sort of like
I don't think he was
She's
as ambivalent
blonde.
as he came
Hot.
across. Yeah. I don't know. I think he was supposed to be struggling, but I did preface by saying like that struggle was poorly fucking executed.
Yes.
But I think that's what was intended.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Did you guys get that? Did you guys notice that the other girl didn't like Melinda? Do you notice from her
Yes.
face every single time that they're in the same scene that she doesn't like her and then never really does anything about it?
They
Did
represent
you notice that she's also erratic and terribly written?
I noticed how every character was erratic
that-
and terribly written.
they're representative of the two
We have to
parts
have a love interest that doesn't like Shun. What Shun decides.
It's a Saturday morning cartoon, in my
It's
opinion,
not-
and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just, it is what it is. There's
Each one of
nothing
the
really
women are
more to it.
representative. They're coon. They're coon. God, they're Shun's desires, like as a physical object, but also like each one of them represents like a type, like his choice. Like at first, Rachel's like, just stay here. It's not that fucking bad. Don't get involved. And then as soon as like shit hits the fan, she's like, how can you not hate these people? Fuck them. Fuck the Earth. And then
Yeah.
Melinda the whole time is like, Earth is great. There are great people here. I'll go back and talk to them for you. Like neither one of them provide any sort of actual option or stability for him in any moment. Like, and he's not supposed to end up with either one of them, but they're both pretty obviously like representative of his struggle. And so like that's why they're at odds with each other, and that's why he's interested in both of them, is not for a love story, but to be a physical representation of his internal struggle. That's what I got from that. I'm not saying it's the best.
No, that's fair. I
Bless you,
could
Ian.
not bring myself to give a damn about them.
No,
I,
no.
they
I
were
think
so
that element you're
boring
talking about
and
is,
unentertaining.
the element that you're talking about is all very surface
I
level.
can see it. I can
The
see it.
biggest character I did not give a singular fuck about, which it didn't want you to give a fuck about them until the very end, and it just blindsided.
I think I know who you mean.
The fucking dad.
The dad. I was gonna say like, like when he started having that interior monologue, I was like, oh, is this a character? I thought he was just like in the background.
I
didn't know he
understand
was-
him showing up to be like, wait, that's my house, like my wife and kid and all that shit. I understand that being a plot scene, or like just watching like him grieve like that
Yeah.
could kind of show us where some of our other characters have been or will be. But him in the elevator at the end being like, I have to work. That's just who I am. I was like,
Yeah.
what the
It's
fuck?
like like if at the end of the climactic scene of like a movie, like an action movie or an adventure movie, the camera just slowly panned into one of like the people in the crowd, and that person just had an interior monologue, was like, I shouldn't have been here today. I don't know what happened. You'd be like,
There's
who the fuck
famous
is this
fucking
guy?
movie
Why-
that does this, that just like switches perspectives near the end to realize like, yeah, we're just gonna see what this guy I cannot fucking remember what it is, but it has happened before, but I thought it was dumb. So yeah, that was
Can I make-
was trash.
Were you guys?
Can I make?
Were
sorry.
you guys also? Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead. You go
No,
ahead.
you can go ahead. I think you started first. But I do have a.
Somebody's gotta go.
I was struggling to understand, like, it was necessary. Why exactly did Dog and like his closest rebel guys, why were they just always hanging out at Shun's house? Like he didn't even know that he was the guy's brother. They were just hanging out at that house for some reason.
He knew it was
I
his
don't. I never
brother.
really understood why.
He knew it was his brother.
Well, no, he found out like, no. He found out later in the movie. Like not super later, but he found out later in the first episode.
Yeah, in the first episode, but like they weren't hanging out at Shun's house until then.
Yeah, they were, because after the first heist, the first thing, remember Shun was building the robot, and the guy was just chilling
They
there.
say
He was
Oh, and
And
hiding
then
from the cops.
he chokes the dog.
He was hiding from the cops.
But why there? And then why did he continue to hang out
well,
there?
no, they just both the dog and him happened to be there at the same time because the dog was chasing
Yeah.
dog.
Yes.
And so
okay,
then-
so I'll
I
accept
think
that he
he
was
was just
hiding out in
hiding
some
somewhere.
random house.
But then he walked.
But then why the rest of the movie? Why does he just keep
doesn't
going
he
back
find
there?
out, like,
he
immediately?
walked the fuck away, and then when he breaks his friends out of jail, he sees that Shun is also there. He was like, "Oh damn!" He didn't even know he was
Yes.
there. So he takes him home. He's like, "I brought your son home," and then the grandpa's like, "Get
Yes.
the fuck out of here," and he leaves. And that's the
And
moment
then
where he was like, "Hey."
multiple times throughout the rest of the movie is just there.
But he's already figured out, because that was the moment where he was like, "Hey, this dude, he was wrongly accused of being the mastermind. Like your son, like they know, like he knows from that moment on."
But again, so the grandpa doesn't want him in his house. The mother and the father don't want him in their house, and it isn't played off
He
to
only
like
shows up
he's
like
trying
one
to
more
get Shun
time.
out of there. Like
He shows up one.
no, he doesn't. He's there like 3 more times.
The only other time I
No, he's
remember
not.
is
Dude,
when
he's there because the grandpa interacts with them.
he's there because the grandpa got
Yeah,
hurt
the
and they
grandpa.
needed to get him medicine, and Rachel needed an escort, and so one of the revolutionaries escorted her to go get the medicine.
I mean,
That's why they're there. And then as soon as they come back with the
No.
medicine, they're like, "Get out of our fucking house. We don't want your food or medicine." Meaning they had not been there forever.
they only say "get out of my house" whenever the camera turns on.
There's another time that he's just there, just hanging out, and that's after the medicine part.
I don't remember that.
It was like I
part.
think it was after he spoke to the elders.
What do you mean?
at
After
one
the
point.
medicine part, he leaves. Shun tries to run away, and then the house gets blown up. When he talks to the elders,
No, I think
that's not at Shun's house. That's somewhere else. That's in a neutral
No,
location.
I know. But then they leave, and he tries to bring the grandpa to the hospital, and then Rachel tattles, and they get him.
Yeah.
And then later on, before the house blows up, he's just
The
hanging out
house
there
blows
with
up
that.
at
What's
that
her name?
moment.
No, I don't think it does it?
When he goes up on the hill carrying, and then the lights flick on, and they're all there. And the only reason
Uh-huh.
they don't kill him in that moment, because they're like, "You know too much. We can't let you go," is because they drop a bomb on the house and then immediately start attacking all the people on the hill, and they escape into an air duct. The house is obliterated after that. He only shows up to the house 3 times. The only
No,
one
I
you can
don't-
make
I
him
feel
excuse is the first one because it's random, but the other 2 times there was a reason to be there.
I feel like I know what Jarrett's talking about, but I think we can all agree that these are all sort of semi-robotic characters, just sort of in
Yes.
places for scenes.
Yes,
I don't.
That's
think,
fair.
One thing I noticed is that the times
Play it back.
Play it back, yeah.
I don't remember.
the times when they do kick him out, it usually seems like he's just there and he's been there a while and he's having conversations, and then as soon as the camera's rolling, like the parents are like,
Yes.
"You need to leave," and it's like, whoa, he didn't
does
just
feel
show
like-
up. Where is this coming from?
It feels very static like that, and it's just because like the movie doesn't really concern itself with like
You know why?
continuity
10-year-olds
as far
won't
as like, no.
notice.
As far as like transitional, it's just like we don't need to know how they got out of this situation. All we need to know is they got out of this situation. So like when Dallos first collapses and like it crushes them, and then like the next part starts, part 3, and then they're all in separate places, and you're like, how the fuck did they get out of the rubble and make it out with the hostage, but then also like leave the bad guy there, and he also made it out with just a broken arm? Like, how did that happen? It's like it doesn't really fucking matter.
Saturday
It doesn't
morning
matter at
cartoon.
all. But it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be. Things can be
but it is.
unexplained like
But
that. Like
can
it's not necessary. Like you can assume that they can get out.
Here's my comment about the titular item in this film
Yeah.
that we haven't mentioned yet because it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, we
Let's-
have, but you weren't on. So
You guys talked to you about Dallos itself?
not a lot.
Very briefly.
yes,
not a
because there's
lot.
not a lot to it. Dallos is like
It looks like a face, dude.
it looks
The
like
man
that's
in the
true.
moon.
But they never do anything with it. Dallos is like the first section of 2001: A Space Odyssey with the apes and the monolith, and Dallas is the monolith. Except it's an entire movie, and we're engaged in these useless, pointless politics between the two groups of apes, and then that monolith is just sort of in the background.
Yes, I think Dallos was like the Dallos was.
I feel like you're implying the monolith doesn't mean anything in 2001.
No, I'm not implying that. I'm implying that the monolith has
Okay,
sort of
okay.
mystery and sort of intrigue, and that the apes are sort of just a subject to reflect the mystery of the monolith. Whereas in this world, in Dallos, it's as if the monolith was just
Mhm.
sort of there, and then 90% of the movie was just like the apes talking to each other in extensive scenes and love triangles between the apes.
Okay,
And
okay,
finding the stick was like a 30-minute scene, and then them fighting each other, and then there's like, but the movie's called The Monolith, and then the monolith is never mentioned.
Yeah, it is just a literal Deus Ex Machina, but
Yes,
like
it
for
is.
the most like qualifying ending of like who the fuck actually
Actually,
wins.
you know what? You're actually very. That
It is a literal
literally
Deus Ex Machina because
Yeah,
like not
that's
only
true, yeah.
is it like a god, and not only does it like end the final battle and like win it for itself, or it just ends in a draw, I guess, because like whatever.
Yeah.
But it's also like a literal
a
god
literal
machine.
machine, yeah.
That like
Wow.
functions. Yeah, but I don't know.
Would you classify it as
This
a
movie,
MacGuffin as well?
Would you call
Would
it
you
what?
classify it as a MacGuffin as well?
It's
a
not
MacGuffin?
really. Yeah, it is kind of. It's
A plot
It's-
device.
it's
that
a
doesn't
MacGuffin
really
that
have
none of
any
the character-
relevance aside from. Yeah,
I think it
I
does
feel like a
have internal
MacGuffin is something
relevance.
all the characters are like focused on that can like sway the story. But it feels like a MacGuffin that's sort of like in the background that everyone's like sort of running around doing their own things, and they're like, "Oh, it's doing something now," and then they kind
It's-
of go back to doing
well, I
their
mean
own thing.
that's sort of a. I guess that's kind. Yeah, it's like a tertiary MacGuffin.
Yeah, like an Infinity Stone is a MacGuffin, kind of, right? Or the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah,
Or
pretty
like the
much.
reel in North by Northwest.
Yeah. I don't know. What I would say is it's just
You
another
don't know
one
what
of
that
those
is?
like
Okay, never mind.
I know what directions are, Jared. Sorry, continue.
Quilf. Wow. But anyway,
You really gonna just let that? You're really gonna
I
let
was
that one
hoping you'd say that.
silence?
Quilf.
Yes, yes.
But anyway, I think Dallos itself. Ian, dude, are you okay? I'm
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got a lot going on below the camera screen.
It's fine. I just want to make sure you're all right because I
Sorry.
can't see you when you disappear into the background.
Yeah.
So I thought you just kind of like fell off.
I was opening a cooler.
Into
that
the
time.
stewed
It
meat.
wasn't related to the cat. The cat's chilled out.
Yeah. But anyway, Dallos is just a literal representation of the generational differences. Like the way each generation treats the Dallos is just, I'm not saying it was well executed. I've already said that I think it was the worst part of the movie, other than like the dad just doing some like inner monologuing at the end. But like the old guys, like blind faith treated as a god and like will insist upon like it's been dormant for years. No one knows shit about it. And like it got blown the fuck up. And they're like, still go back to the Dallos. Bless you.
Dallas.
I burped.
And then like and then like the terrorists are like, shut up, old timers. That thing is not a god, and you're stupid for believing in it. Okay,
Yeah.
boomer. And then like Shun is like, maybe it's a god, maybe it's not. I don't fucking know. But whatever it is, like, here's my position in the universe. At the end, he kind of like actualizes that. So
Who? Dallas?
Shun.
Oh, Shun. I thought you were talking about
Shun-
Dallas.
Shun-
I was gonna say Dallas just blows shit up and then goes back to sleep. He doesn't do anything.
Yes.
He's like the
that's
least
thing.
mysterious object ever. He just like he has nothing to him.
Yes. I'm not saying it was
He's like a
good.
Death Star with a face.
He's
No, the Death
Yeah,
Star is a plot
he's
device.
kind of he's like a bit, but I feel like
It's
a
an
Death Star with a face
antagonist.
would be cool. It's like I wanted Dallas to be cool. I want it to be mysterious and like, whoa, it's from another dimension.
I think that's
It's
the
from
thing
a
is he's
previous race of
truly just
humans.
neutral, and like what he is to each generation is what they project onto it.
But like he was supposed to, didn't they say that he was made by the first generation? Or somebody theorized that. I
Somebody
guess.
assumes that scientists who had discovered that the moon would be habitable had built him,
I
but
mean, it doesn't-
no one knows.
I think you could make a case. I think you could make a case that Dallas is sort of extreme anarchy and is just chaos because he erupts into violence and just fucks everybody up and doesn't give a shit.
I mean, it's
about either
purely
side.
self-defense, but that's why I say neutral. Like he's
Yeah.
neutral in their conflicts. He's
But
not
they keep
true
describing
neutral,
him as
but-
angry. They keep describing him as like kind of low key supporting the rebels, like that he has sort of a
Dude, he
conscience
fucking
and an
nerks
opinion.
some rebels in the
I know he
end. What do you
does. Yeah,
mean?
he's a blind
But
idiot god.
who
but,
described him as angry? It was the
it
old.
was
It was the old
narrator
man,
or-
or is the old man and
Okay.
shit. But like, it was one of the first generation settlers who sees him as a god. The fucking the like Shun
But
is like he just it just made its own self defense because you attacked it. It just has a self defense system. It doesn't care.
So you're saying Dallos is Belgium?
Yes, that is 100% correct. This is a World War II allegory, just like The Lord of the Rings, just like every other piece of media I don't understand.
Exactly.
The World War II allegory. Anyway, but
To
yeah,
me-
sorry, Ian. What were you saying about that?
I was gonna say, to me, Dallas, it's
The god or the movie?
the movie. No, sorry, the god.
What's
god
the
robot,
difference?
The Deus Ex Machina. I feel like the what you're supposed to get from Dallas, the feelings you're supposed to get from Dallas, feel pretty explicit. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of wordplay. It feels like Dallas is angry. He's angry. It doesn't feel to me like I'm hearing opinions. Maybe it's because everyone's a robotic, just sort of like, Dallos is angry. And you're like, oh, we'll go to Dallos. Maybe that's why. Maybe there is supposed to be a little more like I'm supposed to be questioning sort of the authenticity, but it feels like it's this. And then I go,
that's fair. I think you're a little hard
Gay!
we're gonna
on
move
it.
into poopy time.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'll listen for him.
I'll just say, I think you guys are mostly right. I think you're just being a little hard on it. I think there's a little bit more depth and a little bit more
Oh,
quality.
hey man, I told you I don't give a shit about it. I had a good time watching this movie.
I
had
know.
a good time.
I think he's wrong about like the animation and shit. Like I think
Oh
it's
no, I don't
absolutely
think the
good.
animation was any terrible that for its time. I mean, especially for an OVA.
Honestly, like
I think it was
just
fine.
with the massive just like set pieces that they were working with, but also like I think it did a
Yeah.
really cool job. I just think the characters models were weird looking. Like, why did everyone have just like upper body and then just the most like lengthy, like seductive metrosexual legs of all time?
Oh, dude, bad
Did you
character
see-
models would plague Oshi throughout his whole career.
Yeah.
No, but I liked the character models, like not the style, but like the differences and the uniqueness between them, but also the sameness of everyone in their own generation. I think it did a really good job in like how antagonists like stood out so differently than everyone else, but also crowds felt diverse in a way, even though they were all wearing the same 3 or 4
I don't know,
colors.
dude. The chief of whatever, the guy who was responsible for the train wreck and then got shot down after he was
Yeah.
plotting to kill Alex. That guy looked pretty similar to the randos in the working
He
class.
wasn't a focal point, really. Like
He was an
I would
antagonist,
say
though.
he wasn't.
Yeah. He looked like a.
He kind of was.
He didn't make any active decisions against our characters. It was the dude with
Yes, he
the
did.
whoa.
He agreed. Yes, he did. He agreed to shoot down Alex.
Yeah,
Yeah, but under threat of
he agreed
under
after
blackmail.
being blackmailed by someone else who I would say is more of an antagonist. Like,
He also looked mid as fuck. The guy
what are you
who
fucking talking
came
about?
up with it. The boring.
I'm not saying he's the greatest character of all time, but he does look distinct from everyone else.
in the same way that Bowser looks distinct from Peach and Mario as evil.
No. That is a terrible analogy. Bowser looks fantastic, and has
I
one
know
of the
he looks
best
fantastic, but
villain
he just looks
designs.
evil.
But he's a literal different species than everyone else. What do you mean?
Yeah, okay,
that's
fair
kind
enough.
of
That's
fair
a
enough.
terrible analogy.
That's a
fair enough.
horrible fucking
Fine.
analogy.
Darth Vader looks evil.
Okay, that's better. That's better. But he's also wearing a suit. You don't know if he's human or not.
Why does it matter? Why? What's
Either-
with the species thing?
It doesn't fuck it. Look, I'm just saying I don't think it was the greatest animation of all time, but I also think like I think you're being a little too hard on it in almost every aspect. Like I think
I
I
mean,
think
too
it's
light
not-
on it because its culture is significant. I think you're being too light on it.
I mean haven't said a word about cultural significance yet.
But I think
At
that's why
all.
it's on. That's the only reason it's on the
You
list.
and I talked
isn't
about it briefly.
That's the only reason
I
it's on the
talked
list.
about
is
it
'cause
being
the first
understood as
OVA.
the
It's
first
influential.
OVA,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
the first
never said
OVA
it was
that's
culturally
influential.
significant.
It's culturally significant to
It's not
anime.
influential at all. I mean, it might be, but like it's literally trying to be like Jarrett, you were talking about like the sci-fi renaissance of the 70s and how like it felt like this was like trying to capitalize on it. If anything, like it is taking inspiration from the
Everything-
biggest genre in
Yeah,
the
but
world.
I mean, Star Wars is one of the most influential movies ever, but it's
Yeah.
just a compilation of other sort of ideas. But Dallas, I
Yes,
don't see
but,
how
like-
it could. How could it be on the list if it's not because it's influential?
it's more for the director's
Because it's the
influence.
first OVA.
But like I would
Yeah,
not
yeah, it's
consider
for
I would
Oshi.
not consider him this his most defining movie. Like this was early in his career. I think it was one of the first projects he took on outside of a team, you know, like at the helm. And so like it's not fully realized, which is why I'm saying I think you're being a little too hard on it. I don't think it's great in every aspect. But I think like being like it's a baby movie for 10-year-olds and like all the
is.
animation
There's nothing
sucks
wrong
and the writing is garbage and there's no depth at all is like kind of a little too harsh. I think there's
don't think
plenty
so.
there. I think the animation has some elements that were really good, especially for something that came out in 1983. And I think like overall it's a decent movie. I'm not going to say it's like the greatest of all time. I'm not even going to say it's the greatest Oshi movie or the greatest of the two movies that we're watching this week. But I think you got to give it a little. It was not made to market toys to children like every other Gundam anime at the time.
I think you could make a case it was marketed to children. I think you could.
I think
This was what
It's very
I think if you
shonen-y.
don't
there was
make
literally
shonen-y.
no toy at the time.
what is that? Oh, it doesn't always have.
I'm not
to be
talking about toys. I'm not talking about
That's
toys.
what-
I'm talking about the demographic.
Okay. The demographic of the show is not marketing to sell to them. That's just
So
your
what? No.
audience.
Yeah, it's your
every
audience.
show has an audience. I'm saying like
You're about
at
toys
the
in
time, the biggest anime was what?
Transformers.
Teenage
Well,
Mutant Ninja
Turtles.
Gundam.
Oh,
yes.
did you say anime?
The show was created at the same time toys were created to market to sell toys. Every film, every show has an audience. So I'm not saying like, oh, it was marketed towards children. Like, of course, if it was aimed at children,
So
but it wasn't. There was
You're
violence.
objecting to our vocabulary of the word.
No. I'm saying that like, it's not. I'm saying like compared to everything else at the time, there was a reason why it was the first OVA because they couldn't put it on network television because they couldn't show it to children because there was too much violence in it. That's why it went straight
I
to video.
disagree. You had Astro Boy. You had Fist of the North Star,
You
which is
did.
way more violent. You had
I am saying
the 80s. The 80s in shonen manga was all about hyper violence and super buff dudes. Baki started in the 80s.
I'm not saying there was no violence.
Berserk
I'm
started
saying
in the
there was a
80s. I
reason
mean-
they were not allowed to air it on television. That is why it went. That is why it's an OVA. It is a historical fact that the reason why they put it straight to video was because it was experimental. Nope, they had never done that before, but they did it because they could not get it signed. They could not get it picked up by a television network. Look it up. I promise. I promise to God.
I think the more
it
I
became
want it to
super
be.
famous,
I want it to
but
be
it
made
was
for
not.
10-year-olds. If it's
But it
made
wasn't.
for 10-year-olds, it fits in my idea. Then it's worse. Then it's way worse than I thought it was. Then that means it's just bad. If it's for 10-year-olds, that sort of fits in my sort of logic of like why these things are the way that they are. Okay, that makes sense. It's not for me. It's not trying to do these things that I'm expecting it to do. Oh, this character's simple because it needs to be simple. Oh, it's made for someone like me, like a early 20s, like sort of a young adult. Oh, then it's just bad at what it's trying
not,
to do.
but it's not about. That's like I think you're missing the point because I think
What's
there is.
the point? There's no point in the movie. I mean, there
There is
is
plenty
but, like,
of
they're
point.
all- there is plenty of point, but it's all superficial, and that's the
It's
problem
not
I have with it.
superficial. It's all thematic, but you're mad that it's
It
not
is-
as superficial because like
No, what?
you
Okay,
you
maybe
don't.
we're disconnected. I think there are some really good moments in it. There are, I think, like the last scene where it's him looking at the graveyard, and over that is played the Earth politician talking about how
Yeah.
the the Lunarians are getting uppity and basically, and like we love them, but it's time to teach them a lesson, show 'em who's boss. Kind of like just sort of that felt like a really authentic sort of speech that like a real politician would give, sort of this terrible way, and it's overplayed over this graveyard, so you really have those conflict, like wow, like really it lets you see through that speech. Whereas if you were in the crowd and you were an Earth human, you're not Earth person, you wouldn't see through it. That was really nice, and there are a couple of those. And those may be glimpses of this direct future. But I think that the majority of this movie is kind of not that. And I like to believe that it's made to be not that because it didn't have to be that. Like,
no, I think it's the other way around. I think the majority of the movie is fine and has its good moments, and there are just like big gaping holes in it, like in smaller parts. Because it wasn't aimed at a child's audience, and viewing it through that lens, it's not going to make sense. What does your research yield?
Jared, tell me
My research yields.
Tell me
that
you're right, actually.
Sort of. So this it was originally greenlit by Studio Pierrot, which made a lot of shonen series, but they canceled it. Does not specify why. And then Namco Bandai picked it up. I know. They picked it up, and it was released via OVA, and it does not specify why it was released as an OVA as opposed to a TV series. It just says the aspects of it, such as that it was not used for marketing toys, that it was more mature than stuff that was usually on TV, became a hallmark for later OVAs. It does not say that's the reason it was an OVA, which means you can't conclude that it wasn't marketed to children.
I think but it wasn't marketed to children because it went on to home video.
Dude, it doesn't say that anywhere. What do you mean? I completely agree with you, Houston, that it's not that bad, and I really enjoyed it. But I also strongly agree with Ian that it feels very similar to a Gundam, to a Transformers, to an Astro Boy. It feels very much like a marketed towards children animation. Even though it deals with heavier themes, it's not handled in a way that would be too complicated for a young teen.
I'm not saying it would be too complicated, but I'm saying like you can clearly see that there are things that are deeper than like the average like 10-year-old's understanding level, correct?
Yes,
like you can,
but
it
you
doesn't
can tell
explore
that, like,
them deep enough.
The Dark Knight's PG-13. It's not made for children, but children can watch it. It has deeper things. It doesn't not everything that is made for children like is just not allowed to have deeper things. And I don't think that the deeper things go to such a level.
But you also wouldn't say like
alienate any children.
You also wouldn't say that like that's fine. But also like I'm not saying it has to alienate them. But you also wouldn't like look at The Dark Knight and be like, yeah, if I was like 13, like that movie would have some actual like good things to say. But honestly, it just feels like campy. Like,
No,
I don't know.
Wouldn't
like
say that.
You wouldn't say that. The older
Dark
you
Knight's
get, the more
better
you
movie.
notice in
No,
that
a 13-year-old would say it. No, a 13-year-old say, dude, that movie was so fucking deep.
I'm
man.
not saying that it was so fucking deep.
Which is exactly the case for Dallas.
I'm saying that like saying that there's absolutely no depth to it is bullshit.
There is depth, but it's just not that.
The only
deep
reason
depth.
I'm vehemently
Is what I
arguing
think.
this, I didn't even like this movie that much, but I think you guys are giving it such an unfair shake.
I don't think so. No.
I don't know, man.
I think there was way more depth there than you guys had seen. I don't know. I disagree with
So
you,
all the
Ian,
things
on
you
the
talked
fact that like it was. I agree with you that it was boring, but like
It was boring.
so
Yeah,
like
that's
Jarrett,
tough.
you being like it
No,
was a lot of fun,
I
but it was
agree.
bullshit. Like I was like I don't know how you fucking got that because it was boring as shit. But it was
no.
like
we all
I
have a
agree
different
that
point. I
the
like that.
depth. No. The themes and ideas are there, and you can gather them from them as an
Yes.
adult, but they are not explored well enough. They are explored in the way that a 13-year-old would watch it and would think like, "Whoa, man, that's deep. That's crazy. Oppression.
Yes.
Look, what is that thing? That thing's crazy. It's like God." But like as adults, we can be like, "Okay, yeah, I think this is where they were going with it." But they don't explore it like that in it. It's treated as the way as it is shown in the movie is not that deep. The depth is there. It's almost like we're looking at a cave, but we're not exploring it.
Yes.
We're just looking at it and being like, "Oh, that's cool. There's a cave there," but we're not actually going into it.
Jarrett. Amen. Thank you. Everything else is kind of boring, and then there are a few good parts. The fight scenes are pretty cool. Yeah, basically everything else is kind of boring. I get most.
You
of the
you
themes.
like the fight scenes, like the fight scene, the fight.
The explosion is really cool. I like how like things explode way more than they should. You know, like it'll just be like a car gets hit, runs another. Like this isn't real, but you know things would just
You know
run into
what-
each other.
you-
Go.
You know what it would have
Didn't
made
give me
Dallas
yourself.
better?
What?
Do you know what it would have made Dallas
What?
better? If it was purely focused on the action and was like
Yeah.
marketing for a toy line
Yes.
and was like
Yes.
serialized like on cable.
Yes.
That would have worked way better.
That's
It would've worked way
what
better.
I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I can't believe you
Could've
guys
been a
like
classic
loved the
series.
action because the action was so lackluster for everything that was like coming out at the time. Like
Oh, I don't watch anything.
I
For
don't,
the
I don't think it
entire
was that much
genre it
worse
was
than like
mimicking-
Gundam or Transformers.
Gundam or Transformers would absolutely annihilate this
I
this
don't think
fucking
so.
movie when it comes to like best action. What
Dallas
are you
doesn't have a
fucking
guy's
talking
head
It's not as
exploding
good,
inside
but
an
it's not-
astronaut suit.
Yeah, the
Yes,
disparity.
because that couldn't happen on a television show that was marketing toys to children. But I'm saying the
There you
action
go.
was.
The
No, I'm
audience
just
is
kidding.
still
I know what you
children.
mean. Yes,
The
that is
action
true.
was-
That is
the
true.
audience is still children.
I'm telling you, this is a massive movie, and I think a lot of the audience was not children, but.
I
this
didn't
movie
say
was
who
huge.
actually watched it. I think the audience in mind when making it was children.
Yeah, that's possible. Maybe they were making it for. Maybe they were making it for.
And I'm not talking
that
like
first company.
6-year-olds. I'm talking
Yeah.
I'm talking the main shonen demographic that a few years later would consist of Fist of the North Star and JoJo and Baki. Three super hyper violent masculine series that are aimed at 12-year-old boys. And those are way more violent. Now maybe there's a point to be made that Dallos allowed this to happen. I don't really think it did, but maybe.
It
knows?
also
Who knows?
predates
We don't
those
know.
shows
We
by
don't know.
a very wide margin.
But not their.
No,
not
it
their-
doesn't.
Not their
No, it
manga.
doesn't.
When
Fist of the
when did
North
all
Star
those come-
started in 1984. JoJo started in 86,
Damn.
and Baki started in I think 88.
What do I know then? But I don't know. I'm just saying.
that's
I
what I'm
don't.
saying.
I don't necessarily think. I think if it was supposed to be for children, I think they would have hyped up the action a little bit more and like gotten rid of a few of like the themes and like made it. I don't know, like viewable on syndicated television. But that's just me.
But they didn't have a choice. We don't
yeah.
know why it was canceled. We
Can I
don't
take-
know why.
Here's my take. I'm thinking it's maybe possible that he was originally making it for that production company that made so many shonens, and given his sort of auteur sensibilities, he was sort of driving in a direction that was not applicable. He was originally making a children's show, but he was driving it in a direction that was maybe a little too complicated, or maybe a little too violent for the audience that are typically for that production. Maybe that's why they dropped him, and they moved him, and was eventually able to move on to another platform, but ultimately it sort of ended up being sort of a little bit of a combination of both, right? His like creative sensibilities did not really care that much about marketability as far as toys are concerned or syndication.
Yeah.
He wanted to make a thing, but then he also has the influence of production companies and money and sort of the formulaic sense of what this thing is supposed to be, and a combination of both of those things is what we end up with.
I think that's a very, very reasonable theory.
I mean, yeah,
Hold on. Wasn't it originally written by the other guy?
yes, but he also worked on those shows.
Okay, it was conceptualized by. Yeah, so it was conceptualized by Hisayuki Toriyami. So maybe Oshi came in and brought all the plot depth and existential thought and all that, and the studio didn't like that, and so they canceled it.
Maybe.
And so Oshi was like, "Fuck that! I want to make this movie." Yeah,
Maybe
I don't know.
Oshi.
I don't know. It's possible. Again, I enjoyed this movie, and I don't think it matters whether the depth is there or not.
Yeah.
I had a good time. I had a fun time, and I think the
Yeah.
action.
Either
was
way, we
really
should-
fun
I think so
to
too.
watch.
Yeah, we should
We should move on.
break soon though. But what do you got to
That's
say?
true.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that Oshi is an admirable figure. He's just a terrible filmmaker.
I'm about to call him right now and fucking tell him you
The-
said that. And
He looks like he would probably just cry.
he's going to existential imagery you to death, bro. You'll
He-
rue
maybe-
the
we gotta
day
make
you
it
ever crossed Mamoru Oshii. He'll smash your fucking egg, bro.
We got to make a disclaimer here, guys. We
Yeah.
got to make a disclaimer here. Just because we're arguing doesn't mean we don't like each other. Doesn't mean we dislike. You know.
it
Does mean we
entirely
don't like
means.
each other. Doesn't mean
I don't
we
know.
definitely means we don't like each other.
I have a
Houston and
feeling. Yeah.
We go way back.
We go way back, dude. We go all the way back to like the first settlers of Monopolis, bro. Like they had come here looking for a better life.
Dude, Houston. Houston, remember
What,
that time
High school, dude?
in high school
Where
in
Ian-
Minneapolis?
all right,
when Ian wasn't there and therefore cannot relate to the story, so he feels left out and like makes fun of us for it, but it's really because he's like in pain because he like wishes
Always.
he could relate, but he has to sit there and listen as he sees us having
I
a
don't know
better
who
time
Stephanie
with each other.
or Rachel or Susan or Bobby or any of these people are. I don't.
I don't think I know a
I don't wanna relate.
single person with any of those fucking.
I don't
names.
know
go-
a Bobby
let's
or a
go-
what was the first name you
Stephanie.
said? Susan?
Stephanie. Let's go on break
Yes.
and talk about this second film
All right.
because the Hawks have 2 minutes or 2 minutes away from possibly going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Boo. All right.
It's the Sixers, dude. What are you even hype about? They suck.
They're actually.
What are you
What
even
is
They're
the
hype
fuck
number
you talking
one.
about?
They're the number
they're
one in
number
the
one.
East. In the East, yeah.
Yeah, you think they're clutch? Trust the process. Trust the process to fail, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I
Mediocre.
fucking.
mediocre. Fuck Ben Simmons. Fuck Joel Embiid. Fuck them all.
I fucking hate Ben Simmons. I hate Joel Embiid. I hate the Sixers, but I also hate the Hawks. I think I just hate the Sixers a little bit more.
I just hate the Hawks because fuck Atlanta.
Yeah, dude. For
I
real.
can't. All right.
All right,
Dude, we're
podcast.
just
I quit.
destroying
I
our
quit.
viewer base right
We'll-
now.
we'll-
We're just-
we're gonna take a 5-minute break so Ian can go watch the team that he's never actually watched but pretends to root for because they're doing well now.
And so we can
Um,
protect your sensibilities from trashing this trash film that we were just talking.
All right, we'll see you guys in 5 minutes.
Bye. Sorry.
Sweet.
Welcome back to the Spaghetti and Meat Boys podcast, the only podcast where we're no longer friends. I'm just kidding. We've been together through thick, thin, and everything in between.
And Dallas.
And Dallos, yeah, it deserves its own categorization. But yeah, anyway, after returning, we took a little bit of a break to check out the moon, see what it was like. But we're back now. Kind of sucks. Not a big fan of miners.
Just as underwhelming as
Oh.
the movie.
Anyway, we're here to talk about
That's a
movie
good
number
term.
2, which I was more thrilled to talk about, but I'm sorry, I kind of went hard in the paint during the first half. So, but hopefully we can yank this one back out of the depths, out of the crater that it was in. But anyway, it's the 2009 Mamoru Hosoda film Summer Wars. It follows a young high school student named Kenji.
Wait, I got this. I got this.
No, I got
I got this.
what the fuck?
I got this. So, Summer Wars is a 2007 young adult historical
not
fiction
even-
novel written by Gary D. Schmidt. It's set in suburban Long Island during the 67-68 school year. The Vietnam War is an important backdrop for the novel. And it was actually given the Newbery Honor Medal in 2008 and was nominated
Wow.
for the Rebecca Caudle Young Readers Book Award in 2010.
Rebecca
Prestigious.
Caudle, dude. You know,
Mhm.
nobody toughened her up as a kid.
Yeah. It's Friday.
The things I do.
That was Wednesday Wars, by the way. That was, if you didn't catch that.
Oh,
I never read
don't know
it,
what
but
that
I
is.
assumed it was either way.
Glad to be here. Glad to be
I remember that book,
Glad
and
to
it was
have-
like the cover, wasn't it like somebody's like legs under a desk or something?
Yes, yes.
And that took place in there during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, I think it's. I know
What
I
an
read it at one point.
odd
I think it's.
cut.
I think it's. Well, I think it's like it takes place at a school, and
Yeah,
like
I
the
mean,
kids,
yeah.
they're dealing with.
But it looked like a
metaphors.
nice little young adult but I guess that's what they mean by never judge a book by its cover, because the cover is going to be way off. That's like picking up
Yeah.
Guardians of the Gahule because you want to read about owls, and it's like, psych, dude, it's about the Industrial Revolution, fucker. Like,
Oh, dude, I've always wanted to watch that fucking movie. You're talking about the animated one?
I mean, I was talking about the book series, but yeah, the animated movie.
Oh, sorry.
It's pretty solid. Roger Deakins did the
Hell yeah.
cinematography, so it looks really cool. I mean, it's a pretty basic plot. Kind of like
Okay.
it's like designed for kids, to, like market some toys, and it like takes place on the moon and shit.
Hey, come on, man.
Anyway,
Keep it up, man. You're gonna give me those Deacon Blues.
dude,
I wasn't here for that. You're not
God.
allowed to reference that.
You know how I was like
Oh,
2 minutes
sorry.
ago,
Sorry.
and I was 2 minutes ago. I just like we're gonna find a way to pull this one out of the hole, the crater that we dug. Yeah, it's over. We can't reconcile. We cannot save it. This was.
I knew that.
this
It's
is a-
all good. We can just revive
This
ourselves
is a garbage. Oh,
and just start blasting up the place.
oh my god.
What are our initial thoughts?
Go ahead with
on
the
this?
Okay,
Synopsis.
no, I need a synopsis of Summer Wars.
Oh,
2009
didn't-
Mamura Hosoda film. It follows a young high school student named Kenji who works part-time as a glorified Discord moderator.
Yeah.
Until a classmate who's like a little few years older than him, she's like a spunkier version of Sandra Bullock from The Proposal, offers for him
Wow.
to come
Wow.
to come to her rich house for her grandma's 90th birthday, which
I know
surprise,
What that is.
it's a trap. It's a trap. And he actually has to pretend to be her fiance, to kind of like placate like her family's pressures and some promises that she had made in the past. And while he's there, him being the fucking nerd that he is, solves what he thinks to be a brain teaser, like a mass SMS, like forward this to 10 people or your testicles will get cancer. One of those messages that the email chains that happened in 2009, I guess.
That has like an emoji every other word.
Yes. So
Like
so
those block messages that
an unknown caller sends him a puzzle and he solves it. And turns out it was a 2056 key code key encryption for like the super internet called Oz, which not only is like
mega hacker mode initiate.
Spaghetti.
I mean, they did have a firewall.
Big time. They had a firewall with one password.
Yeah, but he cut the hard line to the mainframe so quick.
Dude, it's like 2,000 characters. Nobody's gonna solve that.
We'll get into the ridiculousness of the technology.
It allowed what eventually is understood to be an AI thirsty AF for knowledge, and chaos to hack into kind of like an interactive virtual internet, which is used for virtual reality and fun and online shopping and all this shit, but also kind of powers like the entire fucking country of Japan as well. Like all of their infrastructure runs through Oz accounts.
I think it was implied it was the whole world as well.
I mean,
'cause
maybe
the
yeah.
whole world.
Yeah, I guess the whole
Yeah.
world.
It has over a billion users.
Yeah, but either way, and so he and the other members of the family have to find a way to stop this all-consuming AI from launching just a fucking satellite into nuclear power plants across the world, and
Very-
save the world from devastation.
There's
And there's a lot of family drama going on in the background.
yes.
But either way, it is fucking ridiculous, and it is so fucking awesome. Is what I'm gonna say. So that's the plot
I
synopsis.
concur.
Please go watch this movie. Like, you don't have to watch Dallos if we're being honest. Like, we already gave you enough. This movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Just go watch it because I can't explain it as well. But either way. So what were you guys' initial reactions? Ian, I guess we can start with you.
My initial reaction to Summer Wars was when it first started. So I watched Dallas first, and so when Summer Wars started, it opens up with the introduction to the world of Oz, and I sort of coming off my saltiness from the day before or the couple days before with Dallas, I was like, this is gonna be better already. Like, this is just so colorful, it's so well animated. There's so much going on. I'm already interested in everything that's going on in this world.
Yeah.
And
And
we
then it went to shit.
And then it went to shit. No. And then we got to the human part, and I was like, I kind of want to go back to the Oz. I was almost, I was foolishly believing, because this is the same director as Boy and the Beast, right? Foolishly assuming that this magical world that we're being introduced to is going to be the whole movie. So of course the people are going to be involved at some point. Of course, you can't just have the magical world that everybody loves. But it actually, in the end, I ended up liking the people world more than the magical world, unlike Boy and the Beast.
Damn.
And then
That's growth. That's a twist right there. That's a
it's
character
not,
arc I
it's not
didn't
really
fucking
growth
see.
for me.
Good job,
In this
Ian.
case-
Good job.
No, in this case, the world of Oz is very empty and sort of paper thin, and sort of just like, you just get what they tell you. I didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
feelings towards Oz.
Because that's technology, bro.
That's true.
We're
that's
too
technology.
reliant.
But I felt like it had a lot of exciting moments, and I was having a lot of emotions sort of going through it.
Yeah.
But it was, I wouldn't say aimless, but sporadic in a way, where it was just like, oh, whoa, whoa. It was like a roller coaster, but not like big peaks, low troughs. It was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like it
It
was,
was
just
fucking
kind of all over the
chaotic.
place. It was very chaotic. And so basically I've got mixed feelings about it. I thought it was good, but it's hard to like really like focus on any one thing that is good. Ultimately, so it kind of goes all over the place, but eventually comes back to a pretty traditional sort of narrative structure, where like the outcast comes back, and you've got your lows, your lowest point of the hero, journey, and then you raise back up. But it's just like more hiccupy than that. I thought it was really exciting, but yeah, chaotic is a good word for it. So
Yeah.
in love, but I liked it.
Yeah. What about you, Jarrett? Because this was also your first time seeing.
It was, yeah. First point, I thought Kenji was like Ian because he was on that nerd shit. That was my first note taken.
Fuck you,
Thank you.
Ian.
I like Kenji.
I was also, so I thought Oz was awesome, and at least probably the first half of the movie, before like the stakes get raised, I really didn't care about the family drama. I was finding myself like, can we just get back to Oz? I'd much rather watch King Kazma just like fuck dudes up. Like, the family drama's here, I get it. That's the point of this movie, but it's like, it's not. But I will say, by the later half of the movie, once the stakes got raised, I was more invested in it. I don't think I got to a point where I liked the human aspect more than Oz. I still wish Oz was more relevant, and I like that it was empty, and I feel like they could have done a lot more with that. But not to say that they didn't do enough with it. But it was, yeah. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good, and yeah, we can get to the ridiculousness of at least the technology part of it.
Oh yeah,
the
we'll
parts
get
that
there.
Don't make any fucking sense.
We'll get there, and we're gonna get there very, very quickly. So I just want to go through, say, because I'd already seen this movie before, and like I was kind of mentioning earlier, I really remembered most of the movie taking place in Oz, and so like I was absolutely fucking blindsided during this watch through, because I was like, goddamn,
Yeah.
this is not as like expansive and cybernetic, I guess, as I had remembered it to be. But I don't know. It was chaotic. It was all over the place. It was fucking fun, and also like I don't know. It was one of those that I think it was like I have kind of the same feelings that I do towards Boy and the Beast, but like a little bit skewed a little bit more the other way, to where I was like, man, Boy and the Beast is like a really, really fun movie. It's got like a nice, fun, enjoyable plot, but has like a huge like emotional backbone to it. This one is just like that shit cranked up to 10. Like, it's just so goddamn fun all the fucking time. Yeah, there's like the emotional backbone to it as well, but it's just so fucking just zany at certain points, and just so just like cartoony in certain ways, that I was just like, this is what I don't know. This is it could have been different to me. I think that's where like the Boy and the Beast strengths were, is kind of like in its emotional backbone, and I think Summer War's strengths were just like in how fucking awesome and fun it was. Like I just had such a good time.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But
Bigger?
I don't know. The human aspect of it, again, it got better once the stakes were high.
Dude,
I
I was
don't know,
geeking at the
I was-
human aspect too.
I
Like
like-
it was so much fun. Like it was a pleasant
was- it-
surprise.
I like
It
those
took
characters.
me- Well, see, I was
Characters
sort of
were
feeling like you
fantastic.
were with
Yeah.
Boy. No, they were, and it just I don't know. I guess I sort of felt like you with Boy and the Beast, Ian, where it's like, no, go back to Oz. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, this is necessary. I don't really care about Wabisuke and the grandma. I kind of just
Dude, you didn't care about the
See-
grandma?
she was all right.
The grandma
Uh,
kicked ass.
I didn't
She
feel
was
like there was.
fine.
I
She
didn't-
wasn't bad.
She was
But
fucking awesome.
She was-
From
I like her.
moment
she
one,
did
I was
exactly what I expected her to do. So in that
You
regard,
expected
Yeah.
her to pick
She's
up
the
a
Rock.
fucking spear and attack her illegitimate grandchild?
It wasn't.
I
out of the
expected her
cards,
to
though.
retaliate to the
Yeah.
fact that he's just a programmer and the government abused his creation. But no, I did not expect her to literally grab a fucking scimitar. But I mean, I expected her to be pissed about it, yeah. And then I expected
Yeah.
her to die when she was playing the game. Like she was fine. She was fine. There's nothing wrong with her. But I didn't care enough about it. And
Well,
also,
From scene one where like they introduce Kenji to
Mhm.
her and like she's just like, are you gonna fucking you have what it takes to protect my granddaughter? And he's like, yes she's like, will you die for her? It's like, yes. And then she just goes
Smile with two teeth.
like it just stares. She always does that in the movie, just stares uncomfortably long. Like
yeah, it's like a
think-
typical
I
anime
think
grandma.
The smile with the fucked up teeth is the best. That's a recurring image.
the hippo
Yeah,
teeth.
that's super. That's bro. The grandma in Totoro had the exact same thing. She had the hippo teeth.
Yeah, I'm
That's
not
a
talking about
typical
the teeth are
grandma
unique.
thing.
She's
I don't give a
better
shit
than
about
that
the teeth. I just
No, it's
I
not
just
about
think,
the
like,
teeth itself. It's about like the smile that she
But
makes.
I'm
She
talking
does it,
about
like,
I'm
3 or
talking
4
about
times.
I'm talking about a grandma who is intimidating and strict, but she's actually just a goofball. She's zany, and she knows how to have a good time, and she's more putting up a front because she cares about her family. That is almost a trope, basically, and I guess that's why she did exactly what I expected. She didn't blow me away. You know, it was fine.
Kind of see that.
I guess
but
I've
thought
just
they did
never
pretty
seen it.
well.
And I guess I don't watch enough Naruto 3, but
Good.
I haven't seen
with
as
the
many
Oz-
Naruto 3s as you. Okay.
with the Oz sort of question.
Yeah.
I was gonna say with the Oz thing, I sort of agree with you, Jarrett, where like I mentioned earlier, I liked Oz a lot. I didn't feel like I got to see enough of
Ocelots?
it to get addicted to it. What?
You said you liked
Oz
Ocelots.
a lot.
I
yeah.
wouldn't say I was addicted to
I didn't
it.
get enough.
I
I know,
wasn't-
no, that's a bad
yeah.
That's a bad phrasing, but like I didn't see enough
was
of it to
intrigued.
like it. Yeah, I was intrigued. I didn't see enough of it to like want to go back. I
Yeah.
guess
Fair enough.
they
Fair
they kept it far enough away from me where I wasn't like
Yeah.
trying to dive through it. Unlike Boy and the Beast.
I think that just comes from the fact that at least the first half, before the stakes were raised, I think it was just because like I didn't care that much about the family drama, and I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, they'll work it out at the end. It's fine. Let's get back to the virtual world. Let's get back to the cybernetic fucking banging society where there's sports and there's transactions. Let's get back to this mega hacker. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to this AI program that somehow, for some reason, just hacks things because it wants more knowledge. Let's get back to that.
that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
it would
get
just
back
do
to
stuff.
that.
You'd be like, that's the way it was programmed to do. And it's like that doesn't make any
Dude,
sense. No,
I
that's
think
not
it
I
was
what
just
hated
programmed to
it.
consume. Like,
He said it was
Well,
programmed to
dude-
learn. Yeah, but like it wasn't learning or
No, it
consuming.
said it was pursuing knowledge.
fucking shit
No.
up. It was fucking shit up on purpose.
to me, it was knowledge through power. Like, it was.
It's an AI,
But it was a
though.
game, though.
It's
But
not
they
a.
explicitly
It's an AI.
They
Yeah, but it-
well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
so?
another the glaring sort of not this sort of technical issue, but like they say that they explicitly say that he likes games, not sport. He doesn't want to win. He wants to just fuck around, essentially, right? He just wants to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
why
sort
I'm
of
saying I think it's like knowledge through power, to where it's just like, I have learned this. Now I'm going to just like I'm going to reduce it to nothing. in a way.
Okay, but the problem therein lies with the fact that we're talking about an AI program.
So
AI programs don't do that. They you put
You could
in
say-
steps.
You could say
and
a lot of things.
they don't think. They don't think. For
Dude,
You could
themselves.
Okay.
say those things don't do that for almost every technological like sort of
Yeah,
element.
that's what I hated about the scene where they're all Wabasuke is portrayed as like this evil guy when he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I created the AI and the government bought it and then they leaked it, and they're all just like,
Yeah, I could see that.
Motherfucker.
I agree that was
This
a little
is so
like if you
stupid.
understand
So
what he's
stupid.
saying, if you understand what he's
Okay.
saying, that he's not at fault. But I could see how
Yeah.
like they're just sort of like that didn't bother me too much.
two things to that one. One, you can be like, AI doesn't do that all you want, but also like, we don't have a fucking Oz, man. Like, already from the fucking beginning of this movie, like we were
Oh, I
already
mean, you
dealing
could-
with like technology, like beyond.
Yeah,
the
but
current
I mean, you could
technology of
potentially
the
argue
now.
that Oz is just a different form
Yes.
of the internet of things. Like you
But
could
it's
just
still-
say that it's a platform,
it's futuristic
and
in a
in a way,
It is, but like, I
yes,
don't
but
know,
in a way, it's very similar to what we have.
I just don't.
There are some things you can't.
I
chalk
don't
up to
have an
just Oz.
issue with already like a just fun, wacky, like fantastic adventure. Somebody coming out and being like, yeah, I developed this AI to like learn, and like the government stole it and turned it loose, and now it's just destroying everything. I'd be like, okay.
No, I
Like-
think he's commenting more on.
I'm
it,
not-
is that
I'm not giving it the Turing
family's
test.
comments. I think he's more commenting on the.
That's my second thing.
I'm commenting on the
Okay.
way it's portrayed as we're supposed to sympathize with the family and sort of also be like, oh, Wabasuke, how could you do this?
I feel like we're
how
supposed
could
to
you
sympathize with him a
develop
little
this
bit.
AI?
I feel like we're supposed
Oh,
to feel
I
bad for
didn't
him a
feel
little
that way
bit.
at all.
But I know Wabasuke is definitely redeemable in the eyes of the
Wabaku.
movie. But
No, he's redeemable, but specifically in that scene is like his low point, I guess.
yeah,
of his
it's his
arc.
It
low
is his
point.
low
But
point,
if he
someone,
has one.
someone who is already like hated by most of the family comes in during a crisis and
everyone's
being
low
like,
point.
hey, I created that thing. I mean, I didn't like, do this, but like I created to a bunch of people who don't understand shit about it. And then
That's
it's
not
like,
true.
and then
Kenji should understand
Kenji-
it. The
Kenji
kid
didn't-
should
Kenji didn't-
understand
did
it.
Kenji yell
Kenji
at him
didn't-
and say that he sucked and he should never come back, or was that the rest of the family? Also,
Ken-
and then he
That's
goes
fair,
to the
that's fair.
grandma and is like, "Hey, I did this for you, and I did this because like I just wanted to make you happy, and all that money that you gave me, that I took from you, or that you gave me, pretty much, is kind of revealed that it wasn't as."
Yeah, he sold something of hers or something.
He was like, I used it all for this project. You should be proud of me because like I'm gonna get paid for it. Like, here's the money that they offered me. Like, I'll give you more money than grandpa ever had, or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and so like I can understand why the entire family in that moment reacts like super negatively. But like
Sort of
they
shit.
come to their senses. Also at the same time, like, yes, I guess in our understanding, like that's not how AI works, but like I think it's pretty
There's
telling
more
that
than
like
that. There's way more than that.
yeah, I think it's pretty telling that like the AI, like when it's like, yeah, I want to like learn more knowledge and like I'm gonna steal people's avatars, it doesn't just like steal them, it fucking eats them.
That's a part of it.
Like-
Is
like
sort
it
of like
fucking-
there's 3D physics elements to this,
Yes.
essentially
Yeah.
just point and click kind of like
Yes.
technical internet communication game.
Well, I can put that aside because they're trying to visualize it.
I know they're trying
Yes,
to
yes, yeah,
visualize
that's
it,
fun. That's fun. Yeah.
but you can
yeah.
also take it as like, yeah, I programmed him to gain knowledge, but like, why does he have to be so fucking like, I don't know, I guess like
Evil.
animalistic about it? And it's like,
Yeah, like he's laughing and having fun and
and you can say, even if you're trying to look at it like
You're
realistic
right.
artificial intelligence, like it's never going to be distanced from its programming, like you say. And so like its malicious intent comes from its programmer, which is Wabasuke. So even if the people don't know shit about AI, they still have at least a little bit of reason to hold him in some form of contempt. Also, he's
No,
the one
no,
who
yeah, that's
sold
not
it
that
to
big
the
a deal.
fucking
No.
military. Why would you do that?
that's
I
probably
created
part
an
of- yeah.
unstoppable being and I sold him to the United States government because they've never abused shit. It's like,
That could be the root of why they were pissed or she
Yeah.
was pissed off. At least.
Yeah, and it could be. So I'm saying,
Okay,
I
sorry,
think
sorry.
it's all valid.
That scene aside, I can put that aside. I can put that the visualization aside. I was struggling to put aside that this fucking Scholars Bowl MVP somehow knows how to crack like incredibly hard codes.
Oh yeah.
Like
Let's-
I wish they were more specific about what kind of math he knew, because I don't think
they can't be
high
more
school
specific
algebra
because it's all
was-
made up. It's all made up.
No, but it's not.
I mean,
They-
because all the only text he gets is just a series of 2,500 numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he used oh God, I think they just at least reference. I don't know
He
exactly how
referenced
he
it at
solved
one
it, but at
point.
the very beginning he
He's
used
reading a book, right?
no.
yeah,
It's like
you're talking about the
modular-
algorithm.
To guess the day that she was born.
Yeah.
What kind of function does he
It was
use?
like modular arithmetic or something.
Yeah, modular arithmetic.
That's probably not what it is. Don't quote me on that.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
It was
Maybe so.
modular something.
But either way, also like he was the runner-up, the first runner-up in like Japan's math Olympiad. It's not just Scholars Bowl, dude. Like you think about like the smartest math person.
I feel like that's
In
still a
country.
big stretch, though. I feel like that's a big stretch, though. From
Somebody had to develop the security system.
No. Okay.
So, like,
let's-
somebody-
was it the third runner-up for the Olympiad? What the fuck?
Why does the system have one password? And then why does the password have a code you can crack to get the password? It's the most like worst. It's the worst security idea ever. And it displays it publicly. All you have to do is try and sign into the main account, and it's like solve this puzzle. Why would you ever give that away?
I think what it more is like they just more of like the hubris of because the very mention is just like it's impossible, even if someone were to crack in for
55
them to
people
start
cracked it the
absorbing.
same day.
Yeah, but it's like what you couldn't do any. There are security measures to prevent like the absorption or like destruction of other accounts and like faculties and permissions. Like even if you get the master password to get in, beyond these permissions, like they had said, like, oh, it's impossible. But this like AI was just fucking like going ham. So I think people could have cracked the password, but they would have been able to stifle that one pretty quickly if it wasn't the most.
I mean, would they? I don't remember
AI of all
anything
time.
happening.
I mean,
Because didn't he crack the code was cracked, and then the AI immediately begins eating other avatars.
I
don't
remember
remember
sort of
any other
visual-
checks
But
I'm
or
saying-
balances.
I'm
there were
saying,
some,
like-
like visual challenges, but they never sort of explained that.
Well,
in
no.
a technical
The
sense.
news would broadcast the fact is just the officials still claim that like even if someone hacked in, it's impossible for them to do these things, and then the AI is like doing these things.
Did the news ever?
So there are no measures, is what you're saying.
Talked about.
I think there are measures. I think they have something like, but I think the AI just like
What are
fucking
they?
got around them. I don't know. I don't think it's
It isn't-
necessary.
That's a good point. It's not necessary. It's a good point that it's not necessary. But
I
in
think
our
it's
modern
fine.
sort of mindset, it's easier to see
That's fair.
glaring sort of issues. Another one that I noticed is how the server or the computer that's running the building, the wall that they build around the evil
Yeah.
AI, it starts to overheat, and so the wall starts to crack.
Yeah, that was
That doesn't
was,
make any sense.
I
That doesn't
definitely-
make any sense.
I guess
like-
you could be like when it overheats, it diverts a lot more power to cooling, and so like
Why is the computer like supporting this digital structure?
It's got to visualize, man. We got to visualize.
I guess the vision. I understand the story reason for it.
the
That
people,
that'll
the
make
people
sense.
who got in had the permissions to create.
Yeah,
It's a hacked system, and so they've gone in with permissions.
but
to
they've already
alter.
created it. It doesn't have like an endurance. Like it's not maintaining it in any sense. The servers of of Oz should be maintaining it. It's already been created.
Yeah, but if the AI also has the same permissions, like wouldn't you have to actively work against it? Like
I don't think that you would. I think it's a binary
know.
sort of thing. I don't think it's like a.
If
Like
the
a- like a-
AI if the AI can
struggle
get the
back and
master
forth.
if the AI can get the master password and do whatever the fuck he wants to Oz, I don't think you could come in here and program a wall and then him be like, ah shit. Like I think he could get around it somehow. So
Yeah,
like,
but he
still
didn't.
get
But he didn't. The only reason that happened is because their mega PC overheated because Dimwit took the ice that was cooling it.
oh my god.
That's the
dude,
only
that-
reason that I got.
That made me so much angrier than I should have been.
I know
was
it
like,
made me angry
yes,
too. If you think
yes.
about it, makes sense because you don't want
I was
grandma rotting in the
audibly-
living room. But
Yeah, but she's already
yeah.
rotting anyways.
I know,
she's
but
fucking,
the heat
she's-
makes it worse. He's got a good point, I guess.
It was
Oh
no,
my
it
God.
wasn't that. It was like an emotional thing for him. Like I get it because he
Yes,
was
No,
like, "Hey,
I think it makes sense. Like,
no," but he put it there and he was like, "It's the hottest. It's supposed to be today's supposed to be the hottest day of the summer. Like, so I don't want you like getting hot in here." Like he says that to her.
yeah,
her dead
yeah.
body.
But they mentioned she was gonna rot. Or doesn't he mention later like grandma's rotting in there and you guys are sitting
Yeah,
it's hot as shit.
Yeah, I think it's. I think it's more of like you guys are playing a game while grandma's dying, like
That's what I
or
took it as,
rotting.
yeah.
Maybe so.
So
maybe I heard
either way, like his intentions could be mixed. But
Dude,
yeah, I also don't
I
think
was-
if you look at the I'm sorry, real quick. If you look
No,
at
you're
the
good.
if you're talking about the logistics of the computer overheating, so therefore they can't contain. If you look like early on, even before they have this, when King You good? When
Yeah, I'm
King
good.
what is it? King Cosma or
Yeah,
King
Cosma.
Cosma or King Casma?
Kazma.
Kyle
whatever.
Kuzma?
Whatever is yes, Kyle Kuzma. Ugh. Or King Kazma like initially fights like the very first time when they first figure out this AI has like hacked in, fights him like he's got him in a chokehold. He could end it right there. You know what I mean? But he takes his focus away. And then the thing slips out from under his grasp. And I know, Jarrett, you were gonna mention like the ferocity of which
I
these
love
people are
when
hitting
movies,
the keyboard.
if it has anything to do with hacking or computers, they're just like, I gotta get through the firewall.
playing a game.
In
Well,
our
it makes
normal
sense.
computer
there's no like
functions-
there's no like UI or anything. It's
Yeah.
just like a
Yeah.
screen with like a character's
Yes.
face on it. So it
It's
kinda,
like VR with console with PC controls.
we don't
It's
see
like the
anything on the
me
screen.
the me homepage on the Wii. You know that empty white
Yeah.
space where all your
it is.
Mii's.
It looks like yeah.
It's controlled via the PlayStation Eye. That's what it is.
Dude, no, but
Your
that's the thing,
computer
is, like,
has a camera that reads your emotions and and puts it into your
Like a-
virtual
like a
character.
Kinect, yeah.
But either way, like we would assume he's just doing like WASD and a mouse.
We would assume.
But for movement, he's over here like. So I guess you can just understand like the functions must be like way more complex and intuitive, like way more like real and like require so many inputs. If there's no such thing as
Yes.
virtual reality, if you have to use like a traditional keyboard.
He's practicing actually physically doing it.
So couldn't it make sense if you have to maintain like actual inputs and actions to keep another character in a headlock? Couldn't it make sense that like computer processing power, like dipping, could like, I don't know, like make a wall like impenetrable?
It
I don't
makes
know.
sense. It makes sense in movie logic, but like
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
have to exist
doesn't
beyond
make
movie
sense
logic.
in the sense of like if you're actually having a fight with somebody, let's say in a video game, it makes
Yes.
sense that you would have to do something repeatedly in order to maintain a hold that you're having on them.
Yes, it just feels more
Computers
complex
don't
than a
fight.
QTE or something.
Huh?
Yes, I know, but it just I think it remains like more complex than a regular QTE. You don't just like spam X to like
yeah.
do one
it's more
thing in
complicated.
Detroit become human.
It's all movie logic, and it all sort of makes some sort of sense. Well,
I was geeking when they were setting up that supercomputer
Oh.
and they fucking break the gate with that massive boat and the dude slams
Yeah.
into the forklift with the
I'm
It's
surprised
so
they weren't more
funny.
pissed off about that. The ladies were like, they're not like eating.
They didn't
dinner
even
with
notice
us,"
it was
and they didn't
going
give a shit.
on initially.
They knew though, because like remember they were like, "You guys behave," and then they're talking to the kids, and then in the background you can see like all that shit over there. It's like they knew it was there. They saw it.
I don't think they were like really paying any attention. I think
Maybe
they were
so,
like
that's probably
supposed to
true.
be comically occupied to where they like Phineas and Ferb's mom kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yes, probably.
There is a roller coaster in front of you, you dumb bitch, but you're too busy unloading the groceries. In reality, you would notice this,
Yeah.
but I just think it's supposed to be like played for laughs in kind of a way.
So I don't remember exactly what he said, but the boat was powering the energy from the boat was powering the computer and
That shit was so funny.
he threw out some
Kilowatts or
electric
something.
terminology. I don't remember what it was.
The wattage on these bulbs is Mach Jesus. Like,
It makes
Bro,
it's
that
just
kid
an
said
engine.
that those monitors ran like 1,000 frames per second or some shit. Like, dude, that would take like half of the grid of Alabama to fucking power, and they're in the middle of the woods
1,000 frames per second.
by a boat. Yeah, that's he
Wasn't
said
it
some-
Hertz or something? I mean, It could have been.
I could have sworn he said it was like 1,000 frames per second or some shit. Like it was-
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing
Well,
is
hertz is
funnier in like technology in movies where like they don't even give a fuck about research. They're just like, we need 47 cc's of gigajoule power to the mainframe now. Like that shit is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
and
Actually,
I love it.
gigajoules. Well, gigajoules.
You
is-
wouldn't need
is
cc's
almost
of it
power.
to a mainframe. Like that's it's just a but they just use words that
Yeah.
exist and they just jumble it together and be like jargon.
I'd love to know the tech of the giant icicles were like sitting on these little discs, and I guess it was absorbing the coldness from them and putting them into the computer. Or was it just the cold air that was coming from the I want to know the science behind that because it was just geeking me.
I mean, if
Just
you put a bunch of giant blocks of ice in a room, I'm pretty sure it would make the temperature a little bit colder.
It would. It would.
Bro,
So-
we're talking a computer that like powers Google. Like, did you see
Yeah,
that?
you're gonna
fucking
want
thing?
them a little closer to the computer than
That
just,
computer
like,
was
5 feet away.
almost it was like almost the size of my dick. Like that's how big it was. It was
Almost.
just
That's
like-
but that's what I'm saying.
Actually, I don't
Were
even
those
think-
discs?
Was it that close?
But so were the discs that the ice were in? Was it absorbing the cold moisture?
no, those were
The things that the ice were sitting on.
those were bowls.
Those
So
are just
when
bowls to collect
they're
water.
to collect water when it started to melt. Those were just bowls,
But,
dude.
wouldn't the water, as soon as it's exposed to air, heat really quickly?
Yes, but it's just so it doesn't leak and touch the computer. It's so it gets.
That's what.
Yes, they know it's going to melt.
It's
The bowls
absorbing
are there to
it's
catch
absorbing the
water.
heat out of the air so that there's less heat in the air to take heat off.
I don't know,
It's not efficient. It's not efficient at all. You're
It's a
definitely
place.
right,
It's a
yes.
place for thermal energy to transfer.
It can make it golden.
There is
though.
less energy here. It's gonna
Yeah,
go
that
there.
must have been dry ice, dude. That had to have been dry ice then.
No,
Because
it-
I don't know if
that
y'all
was
ever held an
water
ice
ice.
cube. It ain't that cold. We're talking about a HAL 3000 here. I think you'd need more than like 10 icicles to keep
Dude,
that thing
this computer
cool.
could power the entire moving castle of Howls. That's how big it is.
Also, it has to have.
Sorry, what?
Also, it has to have internal cooling as well. This is all extra cooling. A supercomputer is not going to just be like cold, dead. You know, it's got some internal. It's got
Hey,
fans and shit in it. Anyway.
He sells the supercomputer to the school. He's like, "Hey, but make sure you always have 40 blocks of ice on hand."
Also available, yes, because this thing is just.
You have 44-foot tall blocks of ice because like I didn't put a fan in this shit.
No, dude, it's got an internal diffuser where it sucks in the hot air that's around it in the countryside, and it generates ice inside the mainframe that internally cools.
No, dude, it's just got a compartment of frog togs. You just pour water in the
Fucking
top.
frog dog.
Those like fucking towels, those insulated towels that you pour water over and it like keeps it cool and you put it on the back of your neck.
No, I have a working theory. The guy brought that computer from where Akira was stored in minus 500 Kelvin or whatever it was. So the computer was like essentially as frozen as if it were in space. So it would have taken more time for it to heat up. And they were simply delaying the process with the ice
No, dude,
cubes
those
or the
weren't
icicles.
ice cubes, dude. They were
They were
space
ice
rocks.
Rectangular prism.
They were fourth dimension space rocks that were creating a solid vacuum in the guest room. So
Yeah.
the
heat vacuum. An
a
energy
heat vacuum.
yeah.
So the computer could exist in a singular state.
No, dude,
without
those
overheating.
fun fact. This was actually an Easter egg in it. Those crystals were actually mined from Monopolis and imported back to that university.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if these were in the same universe?
The timeline lines up though,
Does it?
because Monopolis was 21st century, early 21st century.
Yeah, yeah.
And this was 2009.
Oh my god.
But that's just a film theory. Those garbage ass fucking videos where it's like
They're not that. They're not that.
they're
bad.
fucking awful. It's just
They're
like,
not that bad.
if you look at My Neighbor Totoro, maybe everyone's dead, but that's a film theory.
Oh,
It's those Matt Pat videos. But anyway,
They're not that bad. They're not that.
I do want to bring up a few just like fun points because I think we've all kind of like I don't think we need to really debate this one as hard at all. But I want
Yeah.
to bring up some fun
Yeah.
points, and I don't know if you guys have some shit to say, but I
I
feel
do.
like we might come across some of the same ones.
Okay.
So one,
I'm gonna take
did
a,
anyone-
I'm gonna take a pee in a second. I'm sorry. I can do it whenever you want. You can send me the signal if when one
do
of you-
it
I'm-
now because we're about to go in heavy on these memes.
Okay, you guys just talk about the Pacers until I get back, and I will be listening. So
Okay,
don't fuck it up.
all right.
I'll go through
Look at
some of
this.
my joke notes if that's okay.
Okay. What a good boy.
First
A good girl.
First joke
actually.
note.
The
I-
gender's not real.
Wait. I wanna hear the joke notes.
Then go
Well, too
pee.
bad, dude.
Goddamn.
Okay, sorry. Putting her on the ground.
Okay.
I was when he
Steps
said
on it.
one of the uncles or something, he goes, "You have to help others to help yourself." I was like, I know what that's from. What is that from? That's from
Seven
they
Samurai.
were like, it's from Seven Samurai. Yeah, so I geeked
It's
at
just
that.
like who said that?
Um,
Gandhi. He's like,
Seven Samurai.
it's from Frasier, dude. But yeah, anyway.
I
keep going.
loved that they were juxtaposing the family drama and really, I guess, the stakes and everything with baseball.
I was gonna bring that shit up.
It was literally a sport, one of the most heavily reliant on data and analytics and technology, which is the whole reason we're in this predicament in the first place.
It's also
I
the
thought that was
most
fun.
boring.
I said Lamau, he's playing on a DS.
Now, you're talking about the uncle?
You mean a Tamagotchi, bro?
Yeah. I said iPod passcode being Granny's B-Day is weak sauce.
Oh, come on. It was a nice emotional moment. Come on, bro. What a reveal. You didn't see that shit coming.
That was good.
Coming.
I didn't. You're right, I didn't. However, my favorite note and the hardest I laughed was when Kenji is doing, he finally stops the satellite crashing and his nose is bleeding. I said dude was hacking so hard he got leukemia. And I thought that was
Does your nose bleed with leukemia?
Yeah.
Bleeding randomly, like out of your orifice, means like there might be like some
Yes.
internal damage and like it's coming out. Like it's finally making itself known, and a lot of like very,
But does
very
that mean it's coming
degenerative
f-
diseases.
Does that mean it's coming from your lungs if you have lung cancer? That means it's coming up through
You-
the not like you're like,
It won't always come out of your nose. You'll cough up blood in that
oh yeah, that
sense.
makes-
But yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I've seen it in Tokyo Godfather. It's a great film.
Yeah. Great film. Way better than
Yeah.
gay children, dude.
Whoa, dude.
Oh, and the firefighter uncle, he did great chest compressions on grandma. And I know that CPR is being phased out in favor of chest compressions, and he was on it. He was doing it to the tempo of Staying Alive by
Yeah,
the Bee Gees.
I don't know.
They were good. He might have broken a couple ribs.
Yeah,
They
I
were
was gonna
good. They
say
were
you got to
good.
consider she's a over 100-year-old woman. He probably almost caved her chest in. Probably.
Easily.
But if you're bringing her back to life, it's worth it. I'm surprised she didn't resuscitate.
Is it?
I mean,
Nah.
Those
I'm
were
surprised
such
she didn't
good-
resuscitate. If she was straight up dead, chest compressions do not bring people back to life.
yeah, they do. They
If-
restart your heart's rhythm. If you're flatlining, they restart your
they
rhythm. That's
can-
why
But
they're doing it instead of
she wasn't
CPR.
flatlining. She was dead. You can't pick up any fucking corpse and just.
I mean, we don't know how
resuscitate them.
long she was dead.
Yeah,
we
no,
don't know how
well,
long
yeah,
she was dead.
I mean, I'm sure that he felt her pulse before. I assume that she was dying, right? Because the doctor
No.
had the stethoscope, and he checked her pulse
and he
while they
kept
were
checking
doing
her
chest
pulse. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was under the impression that he had checked it first. It was like something was there.
I think it was one of those things to where he checked her pulse. There was nothing there, and they immediately started to try and resuscitate her because they didn't know how long she had been out, and so he was listening to
Yes.
see if it started back up.
Yes, that's what
She
the
had
point.
probably
of chest
been out.
compressions.
Yes, but I'm saying like, being like, I'm
But,
surprised
but
she
she was
didn't come
you're
back
saying
to
she was
life.
long
like,
gone at that
yes,
point. Yeah,
yes, she's
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that chest compressions will bring you back to life.
Wouldn't it be?
You're right,
wouldn't
but
it be funny if, like,
the form, the posture that he had,
You
they
work
were.
at-
I
you
mean,
work
oh
in the
yeah, he's a firefighter. Yeah.
warehouse. The fuck are you talking about?
docs, man, docs, man,
Who?
docs.
They were all firefighters, weren't they?
I'm saying Jarrett. Jarrett's like, that was perfect chest compression for him.
Oh yes,
As if
He
he's
was- he
fucking
was singing-
CPR certified.
He just had staying alive on his mind, and so that's what he
Yeah.
was
I
counting
did.
in the case of.
Well, in Grandma's
Well,
case,
except at
she
the
definitely
end,
did
at the
not.
end in a dramatic sort of drawn out sort of
Yeah.
sequence, or not sequence, but like frequency of the chest compressions, like it sort of got slower and slower and slower. It was
Mhm.
nice, but not
Yes.
staying alive.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna bring up a few things. One, the uncle bringing 3 coolers of squid,
Was gold.
like pulling them out. Did y'all notice that later when everyone squads up to fight, his avatar is a fucking squid?
Yes.
This
it's
dude
great.
wants to fuck squid. And
I
it's
didn't know it
awesome.
was a
Well,
squid.
no, he's just a fisherman. He's just a fisherman.
Why would he
he
not
was-
choose a fish? Why did
Well,
he
he's
choose
an
squid?
Because he's
What is
that's
fish
like
called?
plenty of fish. Yeah, plenty of.
This is a
If you
Mamoru.
fish off the port of Boston, you specifically get cod.
This is a
clams.
Mamoru Hosoda film. There is some kind of sexy animal at all times, which
Oh, my-
incidentally, she does have that transformation when she levels up and she like grows ears and like
I will agree
Look at it.
there. She was looking fire.
she was looking fire. But why
It
why
didn't
does
make any sense.
why does every Hosoda film? No. That's what I'm saying. Every Hosoda film just has to have like somebody be an anthropomorphic, sexy creature for a second.
But
like
that
Coon shoves a tail up his ass. Wolf Children is about
Yes.
wolf children.
Well, it's kind
This
of like
one
it's kind
had
of like
that-
Woody Allen.
that's not a
Yeah, I'm gonna cut
technological
that one.
element.
I
No, leave that in. No, it's
yeah,
all staying in. Everything's staying in.
I will.
But wait. I want to say the technical.
Yeah.
One of the things you mentioned was her powering up at the end there. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? What was her name? Nazgul or something like that. When she was powering up.
Natsuke.
Nazgul?
Nazi K.
Natsuki.
K?
Natsuki.
What is that from? Nazgul? What is that?
Lord of the Rings. Those
Oh,
are the
okay.
9 Witch Kings. Middle Earth.
Yeah, the ring race. But it doesn't make any fucking sense because she's playing a card game. You can't have a power. You can't like. They gave him a rare item. You're
For
playing a
luck.
card game. It's not gonna.
cosmetic. It was cosmetic. Also,
Why? What do you mean? It was. They never. No. They didn't say. They didn't. I don't think it was implied it was cosmetic. I think it
Ian,
implied
it
that it
was.
was a power
And
up.
they literally say no. They say the Guardians gave her a rare item for good luck. They
I
said
don't-
it is
okay, well,
explicitly says good
be-
luck.
To be fair, there were on my download. There were 5 different subtitle options or more, maybe
Yeah.
6. So
You
we
should-
may have been reading.
Did you
different
do the
ones.
second one?
I did EN. Yeah.
Yeah, that should
Ian,
be the
is
one.
my
Yeah.
name.
That was the one I did as well.
Yeah, I don't remember
By the
good
way,
luck.
it's for good luck. They literally say it's for good. Also, too, it mirrors.
Also, that's cheating. That's fucking cheating.
good luck. It's not real.
Yes, it is real in a card game where it's luck based on what card you draw next.
Ian, this is
It's
no different than being at a
metaphorical.
casino.
Not metaphorical. Fuck that shit. That's not real.
No. They were in the casino mode. She was doing good. That's like a manager of the casino being like, "Let's see how far this can go," and he buys the person doing good a drink. That's it. That's what.
That's all it
It's no
was.
different than that.
I don't think so. I don't think that
It was implied that it had
a
zero
rare
effect.
item.
No, it's cosmetic. It was
No, it
implied that it
wasn't.
was cosmetic.
No,
But
it was.
either way, I
was
think
implied
it was
that it was
more
a power-up.
emotional for the girl
was
because it
impli-
mirrors the kimono that her grandmother had given her from the fucking beginning. And so she sees
I
all this
agree.
unwavering support from people, and the Guardians have given it's almost like a blessing from beyond from grandma.
I agree.
That's what it was
I
to me.
agree that's with that stuff. But I think it was clearly implied that what they had given her was a way to equal the power, the
No.
difference. Where
She
she
had
was
already
it
equaled
was
the power. No. She had
No.
already gotten the avatars on her side. Then the legend. It was like a bonus.
Yeah.
Your 13-year-old mind is just too wrapped around like fucking Zelda.
Either way,
and
I'm gonna
legendary
I'm
items.
just thinking about Dallas, dude. I'm just thinking. But no, I think it was supposed to, I think it was like he's big, she's small. They're trying to equalize the playing field.
What are you
here.
fucking
But she
That's what it
talking
felt like.
about?
She
It
didn't
is-
even grow that much bigger.
Play it
What
back,
do you
roll
mean?
it back, roll it back, roll it back. It was.
You're
clearly
just
implied.
you were just
No, no,
textually
no, no.
incorrect.
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm
There's
not.
no debate here.
Yes, I think you are.
It clearly was just like metaphorical. It was just luck in general. It's like an abstract concept. It had no
'Cause she-
no effect on the
again,
outcome.
They had already
History.
leveled the playing field. She had already gotten like 2 million avatars, and then the item happened. It
Okay.
was just like was like a cherry on top.
Okay, so here's a few
History will
things.
prove me right.
Okay, I'm sure it will.
Not.
Aren't you German?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Be careful with that statement. Anyway,
What?
the history will prove you
That's
right.
racist.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Yeah, dude. Have fun being the friggin' engineering capital of the world with your amazing beer.
Too many cousins were into each other in this movie.
I agree.
I thought that I'm wondering if that's a Japanese thing because they sort of
It
like
is.
laugh off
I
the
think it
fact
is.
that like she's
Yeah.
into her uncle and stuff, and
Same
he's
with the
into her.
Same with the creepy old men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The uncle was an illegitimate child though as well, so he's like very, very distant. There's no great risk for even first cousins for birth defects or anything. So like
but
that
I
would
don't think that-
culturally be her second cousin. Like, and then also like her uncle that was also like removed by bloodline.
I feel like
little bit,
though,
so-
like she wrote that thing when she was young about how like she wanted to be like it was like a topic about who you want to marry or something like that. And she talked
Yeah.
about like I love my uncle or whatever. I feel like in America that's a conversation you have with a child and be like, hey, you can't do that. You can't be. You
I think
can't-
it's just a
you can't."
cultural difference.
I think so too. I'm willing to chalk it up to that. I'm fine.
Because there's a lot of like ecchi shows and stuff like that where it's very borderline incestuous and a lot of times is incestuous. I think
we'll
America
get
just
there.
takes it a lot more serious than other countries.
We
Oh
definitely
yeah. I mean, I'm willing to accept.
we definitely didn't we already do hang on.
It's sort of the same. Japan is a lot less harsh on pedophilia.
Yeah.
We have an incest adjacent movie on this list, I'm pretty sure.
Incest adjacent.
Like the love interest is very, very similar, and I can't remember. I don't know. I'll have to check. But
Okay.
either way, we at Spaghetti and Meat Boys are pro incest outside of
Fuck
the
who you
immediate
like, man.
household. Anyone, as long as power dynamics can't come into play, and multi lines of inbreeding, nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And that's canon for all of us. Oh,
I'm just saying, Cyclopses aren't that ugly.
for real. Okay, can we talk about
Some of them are.
an actual semi gripe?
Talk about an
Sure.
actual
How fucking ridiculous? How much bullshit is it that like the insider of the world's destruction, the insider of like or not the insider, but like the creator of the world's destructor, the insider of the world's destruction. My God.
Sorry, I'll mute myself. I gotta blow my nose.
Okay. The creator of the world's destructor, the insider of the world's destruction, the one guy skilled enough who can fight against it, and also like everyone who has any knowledge whatsoever or like tools to help all live in the one fucking household. Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
That's what you have a problem with?
No,
That
no.
You set aside the
I noticed- I
ridiculousness of everything else?
No,
But
I know
that's
that
what
too.
you-
I
it's
agree
not
with-
actually a big deal, but like how fucking wild is like I just wish somebody would have stopped to be like, LOL, like, isn't it just interesting that like crazy coincidence that like Wasukabe showed up after 10 years, and also like you decided to just bring this kid out of nowhere.
It does feel like
crazy.
Star Wars.
Ain't it
Feels like
ain't it funny how it
Crazy
happened?
coincidence that the runner-up of the Math Olympics coincidentally just also knows how to crack insane codes of world
That
security.
makes-
and
that
it was
makes sense. That's
coincidentally
math.
sent to him.
That's math.
What do
It
you
was
mean?
sent to
What do you-
it was sent to a shit ton of people. You saw like 55
There's
people.
55. There's a billion people on the fucking
55
Oz.
people solved
No,
it.
55 people solved it. Yeah, that's it. It was sent to
If he was
millions.
if
I
he
think.
was
We're-
the
hold on.
runner-up for Japan's Math Olympiad, do you not think that it would be
We're-
public who he was and that he was good at math?
But we're excusing all of this technological
I'm not-
We're
garbage.
not
not an
excusing it.
actual-
We're
but
not
we're-
excusing it.
But this is what we have. This
It's not an
coincidental
actual
thing.
it's not an actual problem. I just think it's fucking funny that no one stopped to be like no, the fact that they didn't lampshade it was just like I was just like, okay, like I buy it in the same way I buy everything in this movie. But the fact that nobody was just like, LOL, crazy coincidence, huh? Like that we all
is.
just
I mean,
we all just happened to
but-
be under the same roof when this happened.
And the army guy was
Accidentally.
like, what department of the army are you in? He's like, I can't even tell you that. They're like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice coincidence. This is a top secret agent just sort of in the family.
Isn't
That's
that
fun.
fucking
But that's
crazy?
but by that logic, Wabisuke, the fact that he
They're
made
nice, though.
this and the government realized it, like the fact that they didn't like capture him or kill him or something. But I mean,
What are you fucking talking about?
I think-
the government they're the ones who released the project into Oz.
I know, but they
They weren't
bought
gonna
it from
capture him for
and
it. It was a
They paid for it because it was the greatest program they've ever seen, and we've already established that they're scumbags. Why would they not like go to Whitson to employ him? And if he keeps rejecting,
did.
you just capture him.
Yeah,
I mean,
you would never let him leave the country, surely.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point. So
But-
like,
but I think
yeah,
one
he
of the
left the
even
country before the
crazier-
test happened though. Like Oz was the test.
I know, but
So they
wanted
offered him he was already in Japan by the time they offered to buy it from him. Like
that's true. But like
Oz
you gotta
was
imagine
the
there's
test.
you gotta
He says
imagine there's
that.
a non-disclosure agreement to like the maximum possible. Like you can't you can't
Yes.
associate
Speaking
with
of-
other people.
Speaking of
And-
that non-disclosure agreement, he actually does show somebody the email like way early on before everyone figures this out, like
Yeah.
when things start to get fucked up.
Yeah.
It was the little story device with pigtails that comes up to him
Yeah.
and says like what are you looking
What are you
at? And he's like
looking at?
big boobs. She's like, what did you do in America? And he's like, I was a ninja.
Yeah.
And then he like flips the phone around and she like covers her eyes and it's the email. And then it hard cuts to like Kenji's friend being like, okay, so we know it was an AI developed at a university in Pittsburgh. And I was like, yep, Wabisuke made it. Like that hard cut right there was just like so fucking obvious. Then he turned around, he showed the girl this like long ass email. You're like, yep, he clearly is like the mastermind behind this.
And you better believe the American government, after they offered him, they would be not letting him go anywhere.
Yeah.
With the 20,000 embassies they have in every country around the
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
he would not be getting far. So if we
Yeah.
could put that aside, I think we could put aside the coincidence of this being the ultimate
thing-
family.
I can still
you know?
put it aside. I just think it's fucking funny. I just wanted to mention
There's a
it.
lot of things you got to suspend your disbelief a lot because I think
Yeah.
like one of the things
Yeah.
is like they show the news a lot and they show the TV a lot, and one of the things that no one ever talks about, and in as far as the family or extended family or just people like sort of associated or the news or television or in general, is the fact that the infrastructure of the entire world is falling apart and no one is talking about it on the TV. And like
Yes.
only people who know about it are like these high schoolers who are just chatting through text and stuff like that about how the world is falling apart. Like it's like if Google plus Amazon plus like the infrastructure that like runs the servers for the biggest businesses in the world plus the servers that run the biggest governments in the world, we're all sort of collapsing all at the same time. And they're talking
it
about
should have been-
like a research satellite is sort of like maybe having some problems is the main
Yeah, because
story on the TV.
it is unlike mass media to like deflect away from actual issues.
Yes, they would be like that would all be the only thing they'd be talking about.
Yes.
It would be it'd be like iRobot once he hacks into the bank and the whole world. Oh, sorry, Houston, you know what I'm talking about.
I love
Ian, do you remember when he hacks in and the whole world goes to shit?
Why would I
because
not know? I've
everything
seen
relies on-
iRobot.
I've seen iRobot
Oh, have
about
you?
50
Yeah,
times
it's fucking
and I don't remember it.
trash. The Will Smith
What?
movie?
No.
It's a fun
Oh,
movie.
not
I mean, it's
iRobot. Sorry, Mr. Robot.
Oh.
Not iRobot.
Oh, that shit's
Mr.
that's
Robot.
What the
stupid. That's
fuck
just
are you
stupid.
talking
iRobot's cool.
Sorry. Mr. Robot, when he hacks into the company,
gonna say, I
the
don't
company
remember
that
hacking.
runs and owns everything, and basically the whole earth goes to shit because their entire infrastructure is crushed. And it cuts like 3 months and it's like a post-apocalyptic
I wanna
world, basically.
I wanna hack
I-
in.
Sorry,
I don't
not
think I got that
not
far.
iRobot. Mr.
Dude,
Robot. It's
iRobot's
the-
so
I'm
good,
trying
though.
to hack in. It's what I gotta do. I can't do a good Rami Malek, but it just sounds like
That was Rami Malek.
sounds like he's got like a giant.
You
pocket
can't
of
do a good
air.
Rami Malek.
No one can do a good Rami Malek because it's
I
so
can do
fucking
a great
weird.
Rami Malek.
Oh, a great Mommy
Oh my
Rallick?
God. That was like
Do
a
it.
dude. That was like a
Rami Malek.
Do it, Ian. Let's hear it. I bet I could do a better one.
No, you can't.
I could do okay. Hang on. I'm gonna do my Rami Malek.
Haha, I'm in a
Hey,
museum.
I'm a Mr. Robot. Hey, I'm walking in here. Give me a spaghetti and a meatballs.
Bo. I think
that's pretty solid.
Actually, you should be more doing like.
Yeah.
Ooh, damn. Ooh.
Remember,
Not
because he
good.
was the pharaoh in Night at the Museum.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the reason. Not that he's
Well,
actually Egyptian.
That and because he's actually.
I know Jarrett had already brought this up, but Ian, did you notice how like, I mean, it was pretty hard not to notice, but how everything was like mirrored by the baseball game,
Yes, I didn't.
and like it pretty much told you from the. I mean, you knew our characters were gonna win, but like early on, the kid's like, it's a sport to me. It's a game to him. Like he likes playing games, but he doesn't like sports. It's sports. And so like the fact that like everything was mirrored by baseball was like our heroes are going to prevail because it's a sport to them.
The funny part about that, though, is that baseball, while a game, is one of the most heavily reliant sports on analytics and data and technology.
We're talking about high school, though.
I mean, they still, but it's
yes, when it's in high
national,
school,
it's
there is
national.
zero data or analytics.
Let's talk
for
about
anything in high school.
analytics for a couple hours.
No, let's not. But yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the last thing that I do want to say. Oh, two things I want to say. 3, ACAB. Just this movie said ACAB, and I'm here for it.
Did it?
Yeah, that fucking stupid ass cop. That like
Yeah.
Kenji he was handcuffed and he just like dragged the cop to go talk to the grandma, and then was like,
Then he got decked in the face later.
yeah, he was
Oh,
like,
man.
yeah, this isn't a real cop car because it doesn't have sirens. He's like, shut the fuck up.
It's not a patrol car.
Yeah,
That's true. What about
But,
the thin red line?
You know, impersonating a cop is a felony.
that's military.
No, that's
Thin red line?
firefighters.
Oh,
What?
thin red lines.
Firefighters are highly
Firefighters?
represented. Yeah.
I
I
guess
don't
that
know.
makes sense.
I've
I
seen
think of
that.
the movie The Thin Red Line, which is a war film. but-
I've never seen. I don't know what that. I know what the thin blue line is, right? But I've seen the same flag, like symbol, except with a red line, and it's supposed to be fire.
I don't know why. I thought fire departments never wanted to align themselves with police departments. I thought pretty clear
Firefighters
them.
want to be somebody.
I mean, maybe in the same way that they're public servants.
Yes.
Yeah, but like one of them like runs into buildings like that are on fire to like save people and like never fucking complains, and like the
And
other
one of them
one
sits
like
in a firehouse all day.
no, the other one says
Really limiting that audience right now.
I it's a big firefighter fandom that I'm disassociating from.
well, also you just went pro cop because I was praising firefighters and you were like, yeah, those are cops. Like, but no, the
You
firefighters
can run
will
into
come.
a burning building and be an asshole. It's not. They're not.
The
mutually
firefighters,
exclusive, yeah.
I've said, will run into a burning building just to save people and never complain. And cops will say that your car trunk has something to do with 9/11.
Cop says no. Well, the cops say that your car trunk has something to do with 9/11. They're not philosophers. They're crossing guards with guns.
I went back and rewatched this movie like earlier today just to write some more things down, and I turned on the dub, which was honestly pretty good. I think the translation was better than like the subtitles, but the acting was kind of trash. So I prefer the subs still because they're not bad at all. I just kind of liked some of the jokes or the lines in English a little bit more. But there, you know that part where she's playing the ukulele and she's trying to teach everyone to sing happy they're
Birthday
practicing singing happy
in
birthday
English.
in English. So
Mhm.
in the dub, it's just in English. So it's hilarious because it just looks like a bunch of grown adults struggling to sing happy birthday. And
Yeah,
I
see
was
that
not
as a trend.
expecting that. I just popped it on like while I was like doing other things to just like refresh myself today.
That does bring
that-
up another question though. Why were they trying to sing it in English?
I think it was just for fun. Like,
Homie, have you listened to any Japanese song? They just always have English words. For
I know,
some
but they're
reason.
trying to sing in English.
I think it was just
version.
something,
Like, is there not a Japanese
interesting.
version?
there is
There
probably,
probably
but I
is.
think they were just like, this would be cool. This would be fun to do for grandma's
Yeah,
90th
probably so.
birthday.
They're
Like,
going
they were
above
just,
and beyond.
yes.
Who was alive during World War II and probably hates the English.
yeah. And
A
the
warrior,
last,
a warrior at heart during World War II as well.
yes.
We don't want to know her beliefs about that.
Oh hell nah, hell nah. But last thing I'll say, and
Okay,
I
she's
think
connected to every powerful person in the world. Yeah, we don't want to see her like Germany letters from 1944. You don't
that
wanna see
family was
that.
rich and powerful as fuck. That family
You just-
definitely has some bodies, like, and not in the good
Yeah.
way.
You just see a picture of her with like a U-boat captain, like from the from the 40s.
She's like on the phone, like calling everyone to action, like, you can do it. I believe in you. I know we haven't talked since the fur passed, but you gotta do this last one for me. I've never seen someone organize a mass of people like you have. Just your numbering systems and the way that you file things and just the iron fist that you command with. We need you.
We need you. The way you handle things is just straight gas. It's just straight gas.
You just have this concentration that no one else is even close to. They're not even the same camp as you. All right? They're so fucking
No.
Let me be frank with you. Let me be frank.
Let me be Frank Furr with you, dude. It's okay because Ian's German, so we can.
We don't want to build walls. We don't want to build a barrier between us.
We don't want to build a barrier.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
With an
Last thing I'm gonna say about this movie before we compare. I know you guys might have one more thing. I think Kenji got kind of stuffed at the end. Like, I think that was some
What? Oh, I
bullshit.
loved the ending. No, I loved the ending.
I liked it too, but like, I think he was just like a little too pitiful at the end, like after growing so much. Like, I think
Do you mean in the climax, or do you mean like
no
in the
in the kiss
resolution?
scene.
Yeah.
Just the kiss at the
I
end.
thought that was
The
cute.
fact that he like
No, I thought that
fucking
was totally in
passed the
character.
fuck out, like, and started bleeding.
Yeah.
That was some
That was
dumb
fun.
shit. I was
It's
like,
some dumb
No, he
shit, but
grew-
it's fun.
he
It's
grew-
nice.
No, he grew the confidence related to his nerd shit, but the
I
most
thought
he
it
had done
was-
thus far, he's just held he put his hand on her hand when she was crying.
yes,
and now
no. I
I
like
staying who
him
he
getting
was.
too nervous to kiss her, but her just like kissing him on the cheek. I think him like passing out and everyone laughing at him was just like a little too much for me. I was like,
it's an
damn.
anime, dude.
Yeah,
That was absolutely gonna happen.
Yeah, that
It was
felt
funny.
on
I feel
theme
bad
for
for him.
me.
I think he got a little shafted.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just
he has
weird.
fucking leukemia, dude. Of course, I feel bad for him, but like,
Yeah.
it was expected.
You gotta
It was
cool it. You
expected.
gotta cool it with the leukemia jokes, man.
Sorry.
He's a verge, dude.
He's a fucking verge. I know he's a verge. Also, the scene where he does touch her head, that one long pan shot of like the entire family stationary, like with that was fucking beautiful. That shot was. There's nowhere else for me to bring it up. That was awesome.
One thing I didn't necessarily, I felt was a little weird. Correct me if you guys feel differently about it, but when
I
when
feel
he comes
differently.
up to her, she's like, how you doing? She's like, I got a lot of stuff going on right now. It felt to me like the stuff that she had going on is that her lost love of her uncle had left. That was the big thing going on, not that grandma dying. That felt a little
Yeah.
like
Grandma wasn't dead
like,
at that
it's
point.
hard- No, grandma was dead. She had died, and yeah, I think she was. Yeah, when he holds her hand and stuff, she's like, "I've got a lot going on."
No, that wasn't the
That
same
was
scene.
not
That
that
was
scene.
later.
The
That was
scene
later.
where she says she has a lot going on is after Grandma attacks
Yeah,
Wasabi, and
So you were correct. Yes, it is totally to do with her being in love with him.
yes, but also the
Okay.
grandma's still alive because she walks away, and then
but
the
it was-
grandma's hand is like, "Come here," and then he goes and plays Pie Show or whatever with the
So
fucking
was
grandma.
it before or after?
Pie show.
So what? So he held her hand before she told him to take care of her.
No, that was after. That was after
No,
Grandma
the whole
died.
hand.
The hand holding was after Grandma died.
Yeah, but isn't that the
leave me
time that she says that she has?
No.
No,
that's after Grandma
Oh.
attacks Wasabi.
I'm confused.
Yeah, because he tries to go up to her, and she's like, "Nah,"
Oh,
and
he
that's when the
follows her
grandma's
out of
like,
the
"Come
room.
in here." Yeah,
And then Grandma's like,
Oh.
"Promise me you'll take care of her." Then she dies. Then he holds her hand.
yeah,
Yeah. See,
yeah. They
that's-
play mahjong. Remember?
Yes. Is that what? Yes.
No, it was Go Fish.
No.
That's one of the that's sort of a moment where it feels okay. Never mind. I've got all these things confused. I'm not going to make a point because I'm probably going to confuse them again.
It's that 13-year-old mind, man.
It's that 13-year-old mind. That's why I love Dallos so much.
He admits he's wrong when I agree with him on this movie, but
Dude,
All right.
I just wait for you guys to have an opinion, and I just try to pick the opposite one. Sometimes I'm
Yeah,
wrong,
that's
but
fair.
usually I can pull some
But
bullshit.
I
either
just
way-
realized, dude, you told me to chill on leukemia jokes, but you just went on a string of Holocaust and World War II related
So
jokes.
did
I don't think
you.
that's
What
fair.
the fuck?
I didn't. You contributed
Those
to
were gold.
80%.
How
of
did we not
those.
hit the Japanese at all? Come on.
You started it. You started it with the U-boat captain. You started it with
Well,
the
y'all
U-boat
were talking
captain.
about like, oh, she's got connections all over
That
the
was
world. like-
Ian. That was Ian. I was the
but you ran with it, man. You ran with it.
I'm
man.
not
That's
gonna
good
say.
stuff.
I'm
That's
not
good
gonna say
stuff.
I didn't make the most jokes. But
Dude,
I was
you're like
not,
Wakasuba, dude. You're like Wakasuba, dude.
I'm like Japan from the Axis powers. Like I took it a little far, but I was not the first one.
Well, you're gonna get what's coming to you then.
Yikes. Okay, I'm cutting that shit out. But anyway,
Don't cut that.
You should. You should. dude.
I think we should vote and wrap this up because I wanted to keep this shorter because I've been absolutely dying editing this last one that
Oh,
was like
yeah,
3
it
hours
was-
long. And so currently our Zoom call is at 3 hours and 52 minutes. Now, at least 50
a
minutes.
lot of that'll be cut. Yeah.
Yes. But still, I just
wait,
wanted to, I don't think I can shave it down to where I wanted to, but we should give,
All right. Let's
everyone
vote.
should give their
Okay,
final
wait,
thoughts and
wait,
vote.
wait. I think I have a major problem.
Okay.
I'm looking at the bottom of my screen right now. There's no Audacity.
Okay. So
I had two Audacity windows open. And they're both gone.
it's fine.
I think they may have crashed or something. Obviously, I
fine.
didn't close out of two Audacity windows. I mean, it would have asked me to save.
It
but
is
they must have
fine.
Crashed.
Your audio is being recorded through Zoom. It's
Okay.
gonna sound like dog ass.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I don't know
But
how.
it's
That's
fine.
not even. It doesn't make
It's-
even any sense. It didn't like give me an alert or any. They're just gone.
Audacity is a free program. I don't think you can always expect it to function properly.
I wonder if I ran out of space and it just like, but it would just stop recording. It wouldn't delete both. Oh,
I don't know. We don't need to worry about it, right? Because there ain't
Okay,
nothing
that's
we can
true.
do about it.
That's true.
So we'll just
move on to
see
our
what
votes.
happens. But yes. So anyway, final thoughts and votes for anyone who wants to go.
I think, excuse me. I think both movies are fun. Excuse that voice crack right there. Both movies are fun. I had a good time. I think both of them have elements of it that were not fleshed out, and I would have enjoyed if they focused on the other part just entirely. Dallos is more guilty of that than Summer Wars. When I first watched these movies, I was a bit high on Dallas because I had such a good time, so I thought this was going to be tough. Upon thinking upon that more, it's not going to be tough. Summer Wars is a much better film, much more realized. Maybe not. I may not have had as good of a time, but I cannot vote for Dallas in good faith. So I will vote for Summer Wars.
Cool. What about you, Ian?
With Dallas was a movie that
I don't even know why I'm asking you.
Yeah,
honestly.
Dallas was. Yeah, I didn't like Dallas. I thought it was boring. I liked certain parts of it. I enjoyed it for what I interpreted it to be, which was sort of I enjoyed it in the sense of a Saturday morning sort of cartoon, and the elements that were sort of not as fleshed out as I would have liked them to be. I sort of took them as, I was like, okay, that's sort of fine. In like a objective quality sense, in my interpretation of what they were meant to be, I said okay, but didn't really like it that much. I don't think it's good.
Fair.
And then on the other hand, Summer Wars is a movie that's very chaotic and sort of all over the place, and not one that I think is really 100% actualized, but it's really fun, and I enjoyed it. I was intrigued the whole time. There was sort of like I don't think its pacing was necessarily all that great, or the time it hit its highs or hit its lows were
Yeah.
sort of like consistent, and some things sort of came and went, but it all wrapped up pretty nicely, and I ended up
Yeah.
liking all the
Yeah.
characters, and I liked the themes, and I liked the result of it.
Cool.
So I got to go with Summer Wars as well.
All right. So yeah, I guess I kind of agree with you guys mostly. I don't, I'm still not going to concede that Dallas got its fair shake, but it doesn't really matter because like it is all in all, I think an average movie. It's got some really good parts of it. It's got some not really realized parts of it. Summer Wars is just a kick-ass time, man. Yeah, it's probably not. I do this. I think it's one of those movies that I have to where I'm just like, I was just hyped so much. Like I was having so much fun that like, I don't even care if it has flaws. I will actively ignore them on purpose because it was just fun to me. So I'm going to vote Summer Wars as well. So Jarrett, we predicted correctly. It was a sweep. What did you pick? So I'm assuming, Jarrett, that you thought that Summer Wars was going to sweep, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, me too. Yeah.
It as well.
So Summer Wars
I thought,
is moving on.
I figured Ian liked shit children so much, and Summer Wars was so much better that there's no way he could.
I can't even.
Okay. I do want to ask this really quickly before we go. I'm interested thus far because we've seen now. Because I'm sorry for putting 3 Hosoda films in a row, but we've seen 4 of the 5 Hosoda films on this bracket. So how do they rank for you guys?
And they are
just like thus far.
Not Mishima.
Best Mishima.
Mirai,
Best to worst or
Mirai,
worst to best?
Wolf Children.
You name it, just rank them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best, Boy and the Beast. Second, Mirai. Third, Summer
4, right?
Wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not even worthy of being ranked. Wolf Children.
I cannot.
Razor blades in my eyeballs. Wolf Children. Now, what about you, Ian?
I think Wolf Children and Mirai are real. But just given they're really close. They're like a hair's edge away. Like when I think about like the depth of the impact, Wolf Children wins. When I think about the overall impact and maybe possibly overall quality, I'm thinking Mirai. So it's sort of like I look one direction, this one's better. I look another direction, the other one's better. So I'm gonna put those as sort of the equal, and then the next one would be Summer Wars at sort of like a good distance away. Like I put both of those at 9s. I put Summer Wars at like a 7.
Yeah.
And then I put Beast Children at like Beast.
Boy and the Beast.
Boy and the Beast.
Chihiro.
Like,
It's Chihiro.
Oh, dude. You call it. Oh,
call me out
man.
like that.
I'm sorry.
And then I
You
put,
make it so easy, though. You
called
called Ame a rat. I'm editing Wolf Children in that episode now. You call him Arachnid,
Arachnid. Yeah.
Arya. You call him Kimasabi. Like,
I put Beauty and the Beast at like a 5.
okay, that's
so
fair.
in last place.
So
That's not fair.
The
That's
only
whack,
reason,
but-
the
No,
only
it's
reason
not.
the only reason I'm asking these is because I figured I thought I was right, but I was thinking like we're all going to have like literally completely different rankings. Like, because I would go Mirai, Summer Wars, Boy and the Beast,
Wow.
Wolf Children.
Oh my god, you
So-
put Wolf Children last.
Me and Jarrett, the only similarity is me and Jarrett both have Wolf Children in the same slot. But even Jarrett was like he doesn't even want to put it forth.
Wolf Children
but,
came
like-
in. Oh yeah, sorry. Thinking wrong.
I didn't
We
hate
don't,
Wolf
we don't have to
Children.
worry about it because Wolf Children got voted off.
I didn't.
It got
I didn't-
voted off.
I can't.
Yes.
But I'm saying like I think it'll be interesting to see going forward because a couple of these movies might it's a likely chance that they'll go up against each other, and I think it'll be fun because we all have different favorites. Though now that Wolf Children got voted off, Mirai might be a strong contender because that would be Ian's next choice up, and that would be my first choice. But the fact that every other
I might
movie
finally lose.
we all have different placements for them, which I
Wait,
think is
who's-
really funny.
Did you say that Mirai is going up against?
No, I don't know. Mirai's going up against. You know, I don't want to say that
I think
because I
it's
might
your
make
name.
I might make a change to the way that it's structured. But anyway, that was just for me, honestly. But anyway, we've hit
That's fun
the
stuff.
the time limit. I'm dreading this editing session.
Yeah.
So But anyway, thanks for watching the Spaghetti and Meat Boys podcast. We've had, some arguments. We've had some cat shit to clean up. But either way,
God.
we know that in matchup number 5 of round 1 of this bracket, Summer Wars is moving on. So if you liked our discussions about either of these and you still haven't seen the films, even if we spoiled them, they're still an experience. Go watch them. Super, super fucking fun. Both of these movies were a good time. You might disagree, but I had a good time watching both of them. I guess Jared did too. If you want to catch any of our other episodes where we voted on some stuff, I know we just kind of spoiled a little bit which ones won and lost in previous ones, but those are all videos on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud.
Link
as well.
in the description.
Yes, it will be. And other than that, thanks for sticking through this long one. I'll see you on the other side, Space Cowboy.
She got a castle like Hal.
Yeah. Anybody gonna close it with the final word?
Bonjour.
There we go. Bonjour.
Well, that was fun.
Hair.
Call me Peen to the een. I got lovin' in my jeans. Gordita to the crunch. I got Bell